Live. We are live now.
Yay.
So, what's up, everyone? Here we are. Here's Max. She's a friend of mine. Where she's from, strictly Star Wars is her wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly underscore star underscore
Boys
wars is
underscore.
her Instagram tag, and that's where she just posts Star Wars stuff.
Yep.
Um, that's where we met her, and she's been reading the New Jedi Order for the past few months. It took me a lot longer to read it. It took me about a year to read it. It's taken her about around, I don't know, 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, it's like 6 months. I
Yeah,
started July 21st and just finished yesterday.
just finished it. This is kind of something we've been planning because, it's always exciting to read the series for the first time. I read it 2021. That's when I read it for the first time. Yeah, that's when I started like at the very like New Year's Eve is when I started, actually, 2020. That's when I started Vector Prime, and then I read through the series for the whole year, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun, and it's one of those. There you go. There's the series. I'm kind of in a unconventional spot at the moment, so I don't have my camera on. But in fact, Max's collection is a lot better than mine because none of hers has any Legends labels on it.
Yeah, I
Mine
went to great lengths to get that.
I need to fix that, but I want to get it all in hardcover, but that's a whole different
Good
project.
luck with that.
At least get the bigger books in hard. Actually, I do have Star by Star in hardcover. It's actually quality. Anyway, so I haven't really planned anything. Well, I have a couple of questions, but we're just gonna go from there. I actually
Okay.
did a stream similar to this a while back with Alex.
Yeah.
It's one of my earlier streams I did, and we talked about it because I had just read it myself, so it's kind of ironic. We're kind of continuing the series here. Um, so the first thing, what was your favorite book from the series? There's 19. What was your favorite?
So my favorite of the series is absolutely Unifying Force.
The Unifying Force.
Gotta be that or Star by Star or Destiny's Way.
All great ones.
Yeah.
So why? Well, my favorite was Vector Prime. In fact, Vector Prime is my favorite ebook of all time. You guys know this. Some of you guys will know that. But it's actually weird. When I read Unifying Force, I actually thought it was kind of slow in the beginning,
I
and
did.
then it really picked up towards the middle. It started picking up a lot more. But it was why was the Unifying Force your favorite? What made it so special to you?
So it was like, it has that same feeling that Return of the Jedi has, where it's like the culmination of everything. And like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the highest of stakes. And like, you can really feel like it's the end of it. And there was just a lot of really good moments in it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the whole like ending of it, like the whole end climactic battle of Coruscant and everything. And there was just a lot of really like unexpected things that came with it. Like, the whole thing with Onimi and stuff. That one really caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I knew about that. In fact, all the big twists and stuff I knew going in,
I didn't
which
know
I
about the
guess
Onimi thing.
that's really good because it's just kind of the mod. The series been out for 20 years now, so
Yeah.
things like that are obviously going to be out there. But
Like the
I knew
Anakin
about
Solo I
that.
knew about, Chewie I knew about, but like
Yeah.
everything else I didn't know about.
Hmm. See, what's interesting about Onimi is he's actually force sensitive. Now, I don't think
Yeah.
there was ever an explanation as to why he's.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. I was like, all right, I guess he just wasn't cut off from the force like the rest of the species was. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I think there could be ways you could kind of fix it. Well, it's not really a problem. It just needs to be explained. It's
yeah,
like, I guess you could say maybe he had a direct, because the reason why the Vong are not quote unquote force sensitive, it's not that they're not force sensitive. They're just It's almost like they lack midi chlorians. That's kind of
yeah,
how.
they were just stripped from it.
Yeah, and the
Kind of like how
explanation the
like
series
Nomi
gives
does
us.
to like Ulik, at
Yeah,
the end of
and
Tales.
the series explains that they were kind of cut off from their homeworld. So their
Yeah,
homeworld was probably in their original galaxy. is probably very rich in the Force,
Yeah.
and so would Vong. And then when you get cut off from that, maybe they had sort of like a symbiotic connection
Yeah.
to their, which makes sense because their homeworlds were literally living. They're
That and
sentient.
like combined with just their sheer like ruthlessness and you
Hmm.
know their bloodlust.
Yeah,
So
so maybe Onimi had a role in that and
yeah.
cutting it off. So, but that's just an area of storytelling that we could have gotten anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so what was now? I already know the answer to this, but what is your least favorite book in the series?
My least favorite was was definitely Force Heretic 1.
Yes,
Um,
we.
Force Heretic 1, that was the one I got like really stuck on. It was like I breezed through all of them, and then once I got there, it was like hitting a wall. It just,
Mhm.
because it was like that whole trilogy is not set up like a normal book, and it's so
Yeah.
weird.
For those who don't know, that series or that trilogy, towards the end, it's where it's Force Heretic is the fifth to final book. It's
Yeah,
towards the
something
end.
like that.
Um, and it's a trilogy written by Sean Williams and Shane Dix. The books don't have chapters in it. Now, most people
These ones.
seems like except me, most see there they are. Most people had a problem with that. I didn't. Actually, liked that they didn't have any
Uh,
chapters. I just kind of felt like it made it easier to binge. I guess you could say because it's like if there's chapters, there's you can be like, oh, I'll just stop here. But
yeah,
when you don't have any chapters, you can just kind of breeze through it. But that's how I was. Now I know why. I mean, most people didn't like that, which is
yeah,
fine. They like organization, not just kind of just big old thing, a block
yeah,
of text. But it organizes it. And but I didn't mind it. But for a lot of people, it made the books harder to read.
yeah.
My least favorite book in the series was probably Force Heretic 2, which I know you really enjoyed.
I really enjoyed that one. I
And
was
it's
kind of like a breath of fresh air because you were, against the Cyruvi instead of the Vong. But
that was my issue with it is I felt,
yeah,
oh, I just
it,
have
it
to go
does
with
it does kind
Vong.
of take you out because like when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this doesn't really feel like it's part of the NJO story because like it doesn't really connect anywhere, you
Hmm.
know. But
Yeah.
it's weird.
Someone asked a question here. If Kratos, and this is an interesting question, if Krea's plan succeeded, would everyone have become like the Vong? If you don't know, Krea wanted to destroy the Force. She's a KOTOR 2 character. I mean, no, because if you destroy the Force, you destroy life. So I don't think they would have ended up like the Vong. That's probably what she imagined it was going to be like, but that's not how it worked. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, that's it wouldn't have. I mean, first of all, her plan wouldn't have succeeded. Second of all, if it did, it wouldn't have destroyed. It would have just killed everybody. So anyway, so the next question I'm gonna ask is, who was your favorite original character? A character that was introduced in the series for the first time. You never saw them anywhere else, or her. You never saw them anywhere else. Who was your favorite?
Droma. I loved
Droma.
Droma. Droma was so cool. And I like how him and Han had that like really good rapport, and like Droma would just constantly bust his balls, and like they they I don't know. I like the whole like the Rin network that they set up, and I liked how he kind of helped Han get out of his grief after Chewie, and they had just a really good like dynamic back and forth, and Droma was just cool. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, a lot of people, what they find. See, when I was reading, I'm like, I like Droma, but I'm like, is this going to be the Chewie replacement? No, he's not the
no,
Chewie replacement.
no, he's not.
He doesn't replace
I
Chewie.
thought that at first too, and I was like, all right, it's a little
Yeah,
strange. You can't replace Chewie. But then as time went
yeah,
on and, the books go further, I'm like, all right, so he's not like a replacement. He's just kind of
yeah.
there.
I mean, I don't think you could say Leia replaced him, but it's
Yeah,
Leia.
but like it's Leia.
But
So,
Droma, nah, he didn't replace Chewie. That's what people. I honestly thought that's what they were planning, but then they were like, you can't. That's gonna. People are gonna be thinking like we're pissing all over Chewbacca. No, we're
yeah.
not.
I also
Um,
really liked Harar, the Yuzan Vong
Harar, yeah,
priest. I
he
really
was.
liked him. That
He
was my
was
boy.
the. Yeah, he was the Vong priest that betrayed. Well, he didn't betray, but defected basically, and he's basically the last surviving, at least of the original Vong.
Yeah.
He survives. And he was cool. In fact, I actually thought I saw his portrayal as really surprising. So I remember back in Dark Journey, he was just a little, he was a little bastard, is what he was. And then he converted, and he became good. So and I think that a lot of people, and this kind of theme is explored later on in Legacy. And I honestly really like this theme, and I think when the series came out, I think it was really important. This theme that the people can become evil because of religion, and I think I don't and I think this is really important as a theme, because so many people would be during this time period, the early 2000s, 9/11 had happened, and racism against Arab people and Middle Eastern people was very rampant.
Yeah.
And it was just because people were practicing this dangerous version of Islam. Well, Islam inherently is not dangerous anyway, but people were practicing a dangerous version of it. And people were starting to think, well, then all Middle Eastern people must be, no, that's not how it works.
Just like
that
how,
theme,
the Vong.
theme would be later explored later on in the Legacy comics, where Cole Skywalker's like, the Vong, in fact, even in this series, Luke says the same thing. The Vong aren't bad. It's just their religion that, is causing the two bad things. I think that was a really important theme. I'm glad they explored it.
And it was a religion that, like, Onimi and Shimra, like, cooked up,
Yeah.
And Harar says that, like, that the Slayer god, like, is something that they made, but, like, the other ones are inherently, like, not as bad as, like, the god of war in the Yuzan Vong religion.
So I think that was a cool thing. And I don't know if that was intentional, but I do remember at the end of the Unifying Force, there's an interview, and they actually talk about 9/11.
Yeah, I've yet to read that.
Well, they talk about Lucas. Lucasfilm was like, oh, because 1999 is when the books started coming out, and then 9/11 happened, and they're like, oh shoot, we're writing a book series about an invasion.
Yeah.
And 9/11 happens. So
and
they
the
were
capital of Coruscant, or the capital of the galaxy, gets raided, and
so it definitely, it did. The real world had an impact on the series, and I don't know if they originally intended to explore that kind of theme, but they did, and I'm glad.
It felt like it panned out that way, but that's not a bad thing. Now that, like, I didn't really think of it that way until you just said it.
So. Yeah, that was one of the things I noticed, and I'm Catholic, of course, so I'm not Muslim, but I do, as a Catholic, because I'm not going to say we're oppressed. We're not oppressed, but there's a lot of hatred against Catholics here in America. It sucks, but it's a religious theme I thought was really cool, and it just kind of showed that I don't think religion can hurt people, but it can also help people. So that's what I think. Anyway, so what else?
I had one issue with Unifying Force, though, and I mentioned this in the group chat, but I didn't explain it because I got busy. But the one issue I had with it is in the final fight with Jaina, Jason, and Luke, and Shimra and his Slayers. Jaina kind of got sidelined in that fight, and she got taken out of it really quick. And I was like, "Well, that's stupid." And then and they had to make a point there, just the Slayers identified the weakest opponent in the room being Jaina, and I was like, "Well, that's not necessary because Jaina's just as strong as Jaina."
She is, and I think you could kind of
it worked for the plot of Onimi trying to escape with her and Jason going after him and stuff. So I guess it worked in that way. I just didn't like seeing Jaina get sidelined like that. But
yeah, but see, I don't know if the Vong, I don't know. I don't remember them having gender norms. Maybe they do. Maybe women.
Yeah, they kind of.
I don't remember.
They definitely had a proclivity towards not regarding female warriors as as strong as the male ones. But then you get Naminor and he's scared shitless of Mara. I love that.
Good reason to. Well, I think obviously later on, Jaina would be given a much bigger spotlight in a later series.
Yeah.
Even though it's very tragic what happens, but that's for another stream.
Yeah.
So
It's Matt Wilkins. Hi,
Max Wilkins is here.
Max Wilkins.
Max Wilkins. What's up, Matt? We're talking about your favorite series, my favorite series, our favorite series.
My favorite series now.
So the next question I wanted to ask was, what was the most emotional death for you?
Do you even need to ask that question?
Well, you should have known it was going to be coming because that's what the series is known for, deaths.
Anakin
So
Solo.
what was your most emotional death?
Anakin Solo.
Anakin Solo, my boy. Yeah, that was sad.
Oh my god.
It was very tragic. But see, I've for the record, Anakin Solo is my favorite EU character. If you don't know that, I love Anakin. He's great. But I'm a big defender of his death. Now, obviously, I would have loved to have seen more.
I think his death definitely worked. You know, I didn't want him to die, but it definitely worked. And I you know,
right place, right time. I think even like I said, would have been great to see him later
he went
on.
out like a beast, though.
He did. He reached oneness and
kicked ass until he died.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he discovered, the lambent crystals. He discovered a lot of things that would go on later to help win the war.
And
but
he started that whole like revolution with the shamed ones too, by literally like fighting alongside the Vua Rupang in Edge of Victory. Yeah. And then like that inspired the shamed ones to revolt, and then like that whole, they helped in the retaking of Coruscant. So yeah, Anakin definitely had an impact that lasted throughout the whole series.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, let's guess, because that's always fun. Most of you, Max, I'm sure you know the story of Anakin, why they chose him, but if you don't know, that was a Lucas decision. That was not Lucasfilm. That was not Super Stony. That wasn't any of the authors. Same with Chewie. It was a George Lucas thing. Now, his reasoning was kind of sucky. And if you want proof, the Unifying Force has an excellent round-robin interview where they talk about this very topic.
If only Slav was here to do his impression of George.
Slav will teach you. So, Lucas wanted Anakin killed off because they felt like people would have gotten confused. Well, he felt that people would have confused him with Anakin in the movies because the prequels were coming out at the time. Sad. Now, obviously, no one gets confused over that, but that was well, actually, it's interesting, though, because in Young Jedi Knight's Darkest Night and Junior Jedi Knight's A Big Lyrics World, they both mistakenly call him Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. So, I remember reading it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, so I guess the authors were making the mistake. Well, that's not really they were confusing the characters. They were just getting the names confused.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's never been confirmed that was, like, the reason why Luke, like, it's never been confirmed if Lucas said, oh, they got it wrong in these two books. Yeah. It's never been confirmed, but the authors have gotten it confused. But that's the story. But you know what? I think it's cool. I'm glad that happened because it led the way for, a showdown between Jason and Jaina, the twins, the symbolism with that was pretty cool. And I'm glad that ended up happening. Obviously, I would have loved more Anakin stories, but I think his death worked. Yeah. And it was done well, and obviously, I was freaking Dark Zenobia spoiled me. I don't even know if you know who that is, but
that person.
You know that person?
I've heard the name, yeah, and some of you guys.
I was watching one of his videos years ago, and he's like, "Oh yeah, here's Star by Star. He dies in this book." Out of nowhere, he says it. I'm like, "Oh, thanks, dude." Yeah. Anyway, next question. Again, I don't have any of these questions right now. I'm kind of just making it up. Who was your favorite villain? Basically, who was your favorite Vong?
Okay. I don't know. I didn't really think of it. I liked Shidao Shai and his little showdown with Corrin on Ithor. That was cool.
Yeah.
I really liked Savong La. Savong Long was a bitch, but I was like, he was such a good villain, and like to see him like die, I was like, yes,
Interesting. It was Jaina who slayed him.
Yes, Jason, she stabbed him straight through his throat, and it was awesome.
It was Jaina.
So
My
great.
favorite, if you can't tell by my little picture, Nominor. Nominor.
Nominor.
He's not only my favorite Vong, he's my favorite EU villain. I
I
love great
I almost
character.
like didn't consider Nominor like a villain at points because I was just like I was so invested in his story and I was like I just thought he was so funny because he would just like trick everybody into doing just like random shit and he just like accidentally foretold the future and I was like, what are you doing, dude?
That's why it kind of reminds me of myself.
He was so cool though. And then
he
like
was he was really cool.
when I was reading like Mara beating the shit out of him, I was just like, oh my god. And like it was like, oh, like Mara like jabbed her fingers into his throat, and I was just like, damn. Like every sentence I was reading, I was just like, damn, damn, damn. And then like he's just getting his ass beat, and I was like, ooh, poor guy.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with
Nominor,
Mara.
he's just great. And what's cool about him is well, first of all, he was in Crimson Empire 2. That was a little Easter egg they were dropping before the series came out. In fact, I was
Read that.
actually finished rereading Crimson Empire 2 the other day.
I gotta read that.
It's good. I mean, you can definitely tell they knew what was going to happen, or they were in the writing stages because there's mentions, Nominors like my people will do something or things like that, and it's really cool. And then there was obviously there was before the series, but after Young Jedi Knights, a Nominor poisons Mara, and that's never been explored in a story.
Yeah, I was looking for
I wrote
that.
a little fan fiction about how that could have happened, but apparently Balance Point had told us what happened. I don't remember that, but it did. Because I wrote it, I'm like, oh, no one's wrote a story about this. I'll write one, and I find out Balance Point explained it, which I didn't. I don't remember at all.
But it did. Don't like Balance Point.
It's good for sure. Not my favorite, but it's good. I mean, I
like Dark Journey, and I'm just like, I love Dark Journey.
Well, the complaint I've heard of against Dark Journey is people like who focus too much on Tenno Call. It's like Tenno Call had like no story before then.
Exactly.
And Jaina still got the spotlight.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, so I don't know what. Anyway, Dark Journey was like I looked up Dark Journey the other day on YouTube and someone's review they had like F in the thumbnail. I'm like, how did you rate that book an F? Like what? Anyway,
love Dark Journey. I don't care what anybody says.
I love Dark Journey. It's great.
Especially like a Jaina focused novel. Of course, I'm gonna like it.
Yep. So the next question I'm gonna ask is now I don't know if you can answer this one because how many Bantam books have you read? If you've read, I know you obviously read Zahn's trilogy, but beyond that,
none.
You haven't read many? Well, I was gonna ask what your favorite connection is because the NGO makes a lot of connections. I read the majority of the Bantam era before I read the series, so I understood most of the connections.
Yeah, I haven't read any of those. I plan to go back and read I have the Jedi Academy trilogy. I'm gonna go back and read that once I'm done with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I know somebody told me that I should read that first before NJO, and I was like, yeah, I get that, but I don't wanna. So
yeah,
I had no trouble enjoying it. I was like, yeah, these are connections that I'll learn about later, and I'll just be like, oh yeah, that was alluded to in NJO. That's cool. But, those kind of like past connections, they don't really bother me that much. I don't,
Yeah.
So.
And see, people, Matt, I mean, he recommends reading all of the Bantam books and the Han Solo.
I will eventually, but I wanted to go into the Jaina Jason stuff.
Yeah. I think you can definitely go, and Max is an example. You can go into it not reading anything.
Absolutely.
Like what I always say, at least read Zahn's trilogy, Jedi Academy trilogy, Young Jedi Knights, and Junior Jedi Knights, which you've read Young Jedi Knights, so that was definitely
and I've read 2 of the Junior Jedi Knights.
Yeah, so I recommend those 4 series, but if you want to read it, I mean, and I think it's because I don't think people should be reading the Bantam books just to read the NJO, even though that's kind of what I did. But as I was reading the Bantam books, I'm like, man, these are great books,
Yeah,
I think it's not that you're reading the Bantam books just to get to the NJO, just to understand the NJO. They're good books on their own. They don't need to be read just to understand another series. but they're just great books in general. I mean, even though there's a lot of weird storytelling in there, but it's classic
Yeah.
Star Wars. It's great stuff. So,
Up next is
anyway,
Dark.
so the next question I guess I'll ask is, what was a missed opportunity you feel like from the series that is something they could have done that they never did,
Um,
or at least in the main books? I mean, maybe they did in a short story, but in the main books.
I honestly wanted more stuff with Vajiri. I know we got a whole book with it, like in Trader, but like I wanted more of that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Vajiri was just fascinating, and I loved seeing her like kind of butt heads with Luke and like debate about the Force and stuff, and basically her telling like Luke
Oops.
that like Obi-Wan and Yoda kind of trained you half-assed, you know.
Hmm.
So I liked seeing that, and like Luke was like trying not to get pissed at her. So
Yeah,
Vajiri had like some, she had balls of steel. She was cool. So,
yeah.
but I'm sure there's going to be more to come about her in like later stories, like mentions and more things to learn about her.
Yeah, and if you want to know more, you can read Rogue Planet.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna.
actually that's where she was first introduced,
Yeah,
technically, in publication order. That book she shows up first in.
I'm very
Ink.
excited to read that. I have it in my cart on Thrift Books. So
Yeah, I have the book myself. I have it in hardback actually, so I have it on my shelf. But it's definitely, plus it's a good. I mean, from what I've been told, it's some Anakin Obi-Wan stories
yeah,
before Attack of the Clones, but after Phantom Menace. But if for I mean for sure, yeah, Vergir or Vergiri, however you pronounce her name.
yeah.
I read it Vergir. That's how I read it.
I said Vajiri.
She's definitely my favorite original character from the series. You said Droma earlier.
Droma. I love Droma. He's cool.
I mean, I love Droma too, but Vergir, I just had a lot of love for her character. I thought she was
Yeah,
very interesting, and I
dude.
remember every time she popped up wherever it was at, And after Ages of Chaos, when she disappeared for a couple of books, I was like, she didn't come back until I believe Edge of Victory.
Yeah,
I
she's
remember
like,
something like
I think it's either that or no, she's in Edge of Victory 2, I believe. And then
that.
she's
Yeah.
in Star by Star.
So yeah, she disappeared for a couple of books and then she came back, and I was like, I wonder what happened to her. And then she came back.
Yeah.
It was
Droma
pretty
kind of
cool.
disappeared for a while too.
Yeah, and you really wondered where her true loyalties lie. And of course,
Yeah.
Vergir is the central character of one of the biggest EU controversy, and I say that because I've actually made a post about it a long time ago. And Legacy of the Force, spoilers. Like, this is kind of a spoiler, but I don't know. It's not a very big spoiler. It's more just on Vergir, her backstory. It's kind of like
Well,
mentioned in one-off lines and whatnot. Basically, the rumor is she was also a Sith. She was working with the Sith. She was in league with the Sith. Sith specifically being Lamia, Jason Solo's Dark Master, Sith Master. That's only according to Lamia, and Quality Autism, Noah. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of him, but
heard a lot about Noah. I've never met him, but I've heard a lot about him.
he's a big Denning hater, and that's one of the reasons why he hates Denning. Is
What I've read from Troy Denning has been good, so
yeah.
like
What have you read from him?
Star is
Just Star by
great.
Star. Star by Star is probably his best book.
Well, I read his trilogy next, so
Yeah. So I don't know. I actually like the idea that she may have been in league with the Sith. And what I love so much about her is you don't know her true loyalties. You don't know. You think you know so much about her, but you really don't. You don't know anything
yeah.
about.
When you think you're like starting to understand for Jerry, it's like you realize that you really don't understand
Yeah.
about her. And I feel like Jason like goes through that same thing where he's just like, all right, I think I get you now, and then he's like, oh shit, never mind. So
Yeah. So it's definitely strange.
yeah,
She's a strange character, but she's an amazing character because you don't know anything about her. You think you know everything, but you know nothing about her.
third.
And you never will never. I mean, they could tell us so much more about her, but you're never gonna know.
I would have loved
You
to
don't
have
know.
like
No one
learned
knows.
about her Jedi training and stuff. You know?
Yeah. And well, be cool. I mean, I guess it would be cool to learn that, but
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't think we
it's
should.
part of part of her character is the mystery of Rogeri. So she's
Yeah,
very mysterious.
she's just like Yoda, and I think I've kind of said that she's kind of the Yoda of the EU. You could
Yeah.
say you don't know anything.
I would say that.
So she's definitely very similar to Yoda in that sense.
Yeah, she's
Um,
just a little more pragmatic than Yoda.
mhm.
So
Well, she's like evil Yoda. How about that?
yeah, she's like the evil Yoda.
Yeah. Well, she's
Obviously,
not
she's not as
evil.
strong as him, but
See, this is where that comes in. She's not really evil, is she?
yeah, she's not evil. She's not
Yeah.
good. You know,
She's just
she's
her.
just for Jerry.
Yep. Well, the next thing I want to ask is there anything creatively decision wise that they made that you just disagree with? You don't think it should have happened?
Not particularly. Um, no, not particularly. I think it really all. Oh well, there was a little bit where like it looked as if Jaina and Kip were gonna be a thing, and I was like, no. I was like, no, but it turned the other way, and I was like, all right, good, because I like
Yeah.
Jag a lot better. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
for
no, that was a little weird. I was like, get out of here, Kip, weirdo.
sure. Yeah. Personally, I don't have any big things. The Sissy Rook thing near the end was weird. I like the Sissy Rook, but it's like why? I mean, you spent half a book talking about them. Was it?
Yeah,
And then you revealed at the end, oh, it was actually the Vong the whole time, but
yeah.
that
At the end, they were like, oh, it's the Vong the whole time, you know.
yeah, so that
Oh,
was strange. But Jason, I this isn't really a creative thing, but it's a critique I definitely do give the series. They had no idea what to do with him in the beginning.
yeah,
Jaden
and
was going to be your pilot. Anakin was going to be your Jedi. Jason was your just
he
animal
was just
talker.
kind of yeah.
Just talk to which they actually made use of that later on in the series. They
They
found a
did
way to make use of it, thankfully.
like
But
with the world brain and stuff.
yeah,
That
and
definitely.
so and that's another reason why I'm glad they killed off Anakin is they it gave Jason something to do. So
Yeah,
that was my big. I mean, even the young Jedi Knights, they were like, oh, I don't know what to do with him.
yeah. Just
And
Jason is jokes and Young Jedi Knight.
yeah, well, his jokes are gonna get a little emotional once you get to Legacy of the Force, but that's besides the point.
I'll say another thing that I really loved about NJO was the stuff with Tahiri,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and like how she was shaped with like the other personality arena inside her, and that I really loved. The
Yeah.
Tahiri stuff was fantastic, and I felt so bad for her because I love Tahiri, and I was just like I hated seeing her suffer so much, and then like when her and Rena like just kind of became one, I was like, all right, everything's at peace now. You know, Tahiri's Tahiri again, and we're good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of
Yeah.
the greatest things. That's honestly what kept me going through Force Heretic was the Tahiri stuff. So
Yep. And Tahiri, I think she's a character that I think nowadays if she was introduced, people would look at her as like that annoying character, but she as she went on, as her story developed, she got a lot better. Now people are like, oh, that's what Ahsoka's like. I guess so, but I just
Ahsoka
don't even
used to be
I've
like
never yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with liking Ahsoka, but I just think anyway. I don't even want to get on. Let's not even get on topic. Let's move on from that. But that gives into a different topic. Ahsoka's not even in the series. She's dead by this time, for the record.
that.
She should be. Lord, knowing Disney, they'd make a story about Ahsoka during this era.
No.
Um,
Uh,
sorry guys for giving you guys that sort of
yeah,
I don't know
vision in
image.
my head.
But anyway, Tahiri was definitely great, and I'm a big Junior Jedi Knights fan, so it was really cool
I
to
love
see that story. I mean, I love Junior Jedi Knights. I mean, it's
yeah.
on par with Young Jedi Knights. I think. In
I
fact,
have
in
up to
ways I prefer
five.
Junior Jedi Knights.
I have up to book 5 and Junior Jedi Knights. I've only read the first two, but I do plan on reading the rest of them. I'm really trying to get to Legacy, and I'm super excited for it. So I just have to get through
Yeah.
the Bug trilogy. So,
Mm-hmm. The bug. Did you call it the Bug trilogy?
yeah,
I mean, that's what it is for sure.
I
I've read
heard
the first book, and I thought the first book was a slog, but anyway,
Hoping
Oh,
to
if I think it's a slog, it's probably a slog.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
if I can get through New Jedi Order, I can do anything. You know,
yeah. Well, New Jedi Order is not a slog. There's the difference.
you're gonna probably kill me for this, but I honestly thought Vector Prime was a bit of a slog.
No, you're wrong. Anyway, moving on. It was not a slog. Vector Prime is great, but
No,
um,
it's fantastic. I just felt like I was like, this is going on and on forever, and then you
I
know,
was addicted, man. It takes me about a week. If I read consistently every day, it takes me about a week to get through a book. It took me just a couple of days to get through that book, which is I loved it. I was in
it
love with that. I could
took
not put it down. It
me
was great.
took me less than 24 hours to do Final Prophecy. Took me about a day and a half to do Unifying Force.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a quick
Yeah,
learner.
final. See, there, New Jedi Order showcased an author that I really think should have gotten more
Greg
stories.
Keys.
Greg Casey only had 3 novels in the EU, but that
Uh-huh.
man, he deserved to get a trilogy of his own standalone trilogy. I
Absolutely.
mean, he was clearly a big Junior Jedi Knights fan. That's really all what his books focus on with the characters from those books.
Yeah,
But man, he continues it in a great way that
he's
honors
great.
what
I
is
have an
original.
autograph from him by accident. So
There you go. I would pay
I
money
still
for
don't
that.
know how that happened, but
Yeah. So, but Greg Key's great author, great ideas, very unique and different
yeah,
ideas. He was just a great guy, and I really wish he'd gotten the chance. If he wrote some new canon stuff, I'd probably read it,
yeah.
which is different for me, but because I don't really read new canon. But
But
next
they don't have.
question. What question could I ask next? Um, geez, I don't know. What were your thoughts on how the original three were treated? Luke, Han, and Leia. How did you
They,
feel? How did you feel about their treatment in the series?
they were great. They were fantastic, if you ask me. Um, I love seeing Leia as a Jedi. I think that's so cool, and it's so badass because you can just picture Carrie Fisher wielding a lightsaber, and it's just, it's so cool. And like I love her dynamic with Han, and the death of Chewie and the death of Anakin, just like, Han goes and does his thing for a while with like Droma and whatnot, but he comes back, and the death of Anakin, like, kind of really brings them even closer, where
Yep.
instead of driving them apart like it does
Hmm.
in canon, which is really dumb. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but like, and then with Luke, I love the stuff with Luke. Um, Luke is fantastic. Um, and I love seeing him as like the Jedi Master that he should be, and like seeing him
Yep.
be so loving with his family and with Mara. Um,
And
so
at the same time, he still made mistakes.
absolutely,
Yeah.
he
And
made
if I
a
mean,
shitload of them.
yeah, and the biggest one. I mean, he's kind of you would think, well, with Luke and the Jedi Order, with the Republic, how could the Vaughn have gotten as far as they did? Luke didn't want to fight them. That
Yeah,
was
the,
his
the
thing in
whole
the
Jedi Order, like the Jedi Order, was like so divided on that between Kip's side of things and Luke's side of things,
yeah.
and like
And
Luke
Luke
just
was
kind of
like,
didn't know how to do anything. Like he was like, "How do I bring everybody back together,
yeah,
but still
and,
like do something?"
yeah, and Luke was like, I was dead freaking wrong, and then he started the offensive.
Yeah,
But it's cool because it's a big Dark Empire thing. Dark people like Dark Empire doesn't have a big role in the EU. I mean, I didn't have as many connections as maybe other stories do, but it definitely did impact Luke's characterization in
yeah,
NJO. He was like, I turned his mindset in the beginning of the series was this. I turned to the dark side, man. I know what it's like. I don't want that to
yeah,
happen to any of you. So we're going to do this defensively. But he
yeah.
failed to realize that you can be offensive as a Jedi and still uphold the ways of the light.
Yeah, and like Kip was like saying that he's like, "Listen, dude, like I felt the dark side too, like, but we still have to fight these invaders."
Yeah.
So
And Luke realized Kip was right. Basically after Anakin's death, he's like, okay, I'm done. Let's get it.
yeah,
After Anakin died, it was the final straw for him. And
Cena wanted to fight too, and it was really just like Jason that didn't want to, you know, in the beginning, which was
yeah,
like I just like Jason's stuff, like he was just like arguing with Anakin constantly, and I was like, Jason, get your head out of your ass and go fight. Like you need to
Yeah,
defend the galaxy.
and that's what they did. But it was some great conflict, and it was Luke. Because people think that EU Luke is just some superhero. He's not. He's not at all.
Not
There's
even
definitely examples of him being powerful, but considering he's the
absolutely.
most powerful Jedi ever, it's
Yeah,
gonna happen. Maybe not ever, but he's one of the most powerful Jedi, so of course he's gonna do things that are powerful. Let's
yeah,
show that off. Let's prove that. But also, they do make that. Those are very far and rare. Like I've read most of the Manson books. I've read most of the stories of Luke, and
yeah.
there's way more examples of him being a character than him being a force bot, a force whatever.
A
You know
lot
what
of
I'm saying?
the
Force
like
superhero.
a lot of the EU people who like or like the EU haters and stuff, they'll like say, like Luke was just a one-dimensional, basically just an action
Yeah,
figure for the dude bros, and that's just the
yeah, he's
furthest
not.
thing from the truth because
Yeah,
you know, like he fails a lot and he doesn't do these crazy like god feats that people claim that he does, and I'm like, where are you getting this info? What are you reading? I don't know. Like they're just watching like Star Wars theory videos or some shit.
mhm.
Like that's not it's not even remotely close to Luke's
Yeah,
characterization in the expanded universe. And
yeah.
it's like,
There's like 40 or 50 books after Jedi, 60 maybe. You really think that all he was doing in most of those books is just
just
fighting?
yeah,
No, there's examples obviously,
yeah,
but
like he goes fucking crazy like on the way to Shimra's fucking lair,
yeah,
like the stairway fight, like it's such a crowded like area, and like Jaina and Jason are kind of hanging back and Luke's leading the way and he's just like slaughtering them, and I'm like, but like he has to, like this is his job, but that doesn't take away from his character just
he
because
doesn't.
he's like being a powerful Jedi, you know.
Yeah. And I think if he didn't do anything powerful, and yet people were claiming, the writers were saying, yeah, he's the most powerful,
Yeah,
but he wasn't showing that off. Would you really believe the authors?
no, you have to have
So
that demonstration of power. It's Star Wars. It's like
yeah,
it's got to be there.
but probably 95% of the time, he was being a legit character, doing
Absolutely.
being a character, being a human. You're doing human things, making
Yeah.
mistakes, things like that. So anyway, next question I could ask is what? I don't know. I probably should have prepared better for this. I've asked most of the questions. I'm basically trying to remember the questions I was asking freaking
Mhm.
Alex in my the first stream I did about the NGO. Um, uh, what were your thoughts on? I don't know. What okay? What was your absolute favorite moment in the entire series? What is a moment that sticks that means so much to you from the entire series?
Honestly, it's probably got to be the birth of Ben.
Birth of Yep, fair, yeah.
Just so heartwarming, and like because Mara had been and like wanted kids so bad, and like she was so scared that she couldn't because of the disease, and
Mm-hmm.
Luke like staying by her and like them eliminating the poison from her body, and like finally being able to experience that and have Ben, and like it was just the greatest thing, and like I cried so bad, and I'm trying not to right now, but it was
Yep.
so heartwarming to me because like I love Mara so much, and like because like I want to be a mom too like her, and like I just man, it was just so sweet, and I was so happy to see Mara actually get that and like
Yeah.
have her be a mom and her and Luke and Ben be a family. So
Mm-hmm.
that is like my favorite. And then Anakin comes in like a minute later, and he's like, "Wow, are they always that ugly?" You know? And I was like, "Bruh."
Yeah. That's. I think that's what's really cool about the EU is people think Legends is just this dude bro thing. It's like no, it's not.
Nah. It's
There,
so
you know,
good.
there are definitely examples of things that
Absolutely, there's absolute dude bro moments in the EU, and so there is in canon too. That's the
yeah,
nature of the
go
beast.
watch anything Filoni in the new canon. There's tons of dude bro stuff in that,
Exactly.
and I don't
Like,
think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm not a dude bro or whatever. But like, nothing wrong with cool scenes. People do
no, of
anyway.
course not. Like,
But there's so many human moments in the just
the Mara, and Ben, and
yeah,
there's so much of that. There's so much like heart in it. There's a
yeah,
scene where at the end, when they're on the Falcon, they're leaving Coruscant, and Luke had just gotten like stabbed with the amphi staff from Shimra, and like Jason does like the Vajiri thing with the tears and heals him. And literally all of the Skywalkers and Solos just kind of get into a group hug, and they all just like are sitting there crying of just like happiness and just joy, and like they actually made it out alive from this,
yeah.
and that's just as I said, like when I finished it, I was crying for like 5 minutes straight because like that was just the sweetest thing.
Yeah,
Like like the EU like really has that. It captures like the heart of Star Wars, and it feels like it has that heart to it, that you get in the original trilogy.
yeah, for sure. What were your thoughts on the tone of the series? The tone of the series is always criticized. It's too dark. What are
That's
your thoughts on it?
stupid. It's supposed to be dark. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be. Literally, this evil species from another galaxy comes and invades and literally catches the whole place, the whole galaxy by storm, and like
Yeah,
things feel hopeless for a long time, because people like Chewie dies first book, Anakin dies later on. There's just so much death happening, and
yeah,
like, but there are glimmers of hope in each of the stories, So it's just like
mm-hmm.
it's too dark, whatever. I mean, yeah, it is dark and it's edgy, but it's supposed to be. It's an adult story,
Yeah,
Like it's not meant for kids. It's not a kids series. You want a
yeah.
kids series? Go read like Junior Jedi Knights or Young Jedi Knights, not NJO.
Or go watch Filoni's Clone Wars. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Hi, Marcel.
Yeah. What's up, Marcel? What's up,
Hi,
Alex?
Alex.
So, I'm gonna kind of bounce off of that. Meg reviews. I don't know if you've ever seen her page. She's her reviews are very like formal and detailed. It's not my style, but she does a great job with her reviews. She actually talked about this, because I think the same year I was reading it for the first time, she was rereading it. Um, and she talked about how back in these years, 1999, late 90s,
Yeah.
grim dark fiction was pretty popular.
It was. That was kind of like
Yeah,
the vibe of those days. I mean, I wasn't born when they came out, but that was you know,
and of course that's something what they wanted to do with Star Wars, and you even see that now with
but it fits for the story.
what is a genre that's popular that Star Wars is now exploring a lot more of? I'm trying to think.
Like the political drama, like of Andor.
Yeah,
Nobody complains that that's a bit dark. It is a dark story, like dark series.
Andor is
It explores a lot of really
Wars.
dark tones, but nobody bitches about that.
Yeah, for a Star Wars story, Andor is pretty dark.
Absolutely.
People don't think it's dark, but I guess it's
I
dark
mean,
maybe a
it's
different
not
way. Because
NJO dark, but it's dark.
I mean, the NJO is more of a horror dark,
It
but
is.
it's not. It's I don't
And
know.
it's meant to be that way.
I felt like the tone was a lot more serious in the other books, but other than that, I didn't feel like it was any different.
No,
It was just a little bit
I
more
think
serious, which
fine.
if it was that fun, lighthearted stuff we got from the Bantam era, which I love, but you're not going to want to read a 19-book series on it. You want some real stakes, and you can't have the reader reading a series for 19 books without any serious stakes. That's why Chewie was killed off, Anakin was killed off, all these other freaking
you worry about everything else. Like you worry about these other characters. Like if I didn't know if I didn't know anything about Darkness and Legacy and Fate, I honestly would have been like shitting myself for like Han and Luke and Leia. Like, there's a moment in Unifying Force where Han gets bit by an amphi staff and he appears to be dead, and I'm like, I actually worried about. I was like, wait a minute, Han's in the next books, right? And then I was thinking about it. I was like, oh shit. So,
Yeah.
but
And see, Chris just brought up this great
yeah,
point. Um,
very good point.
so, but even then, I mean, I
Next,
guess I'm personally, I'm just really open to any sort of tone in Star.
yeah,
I think I think
absolutely.
Star Wars is such a big galaxy. You can incorporate those kind of stories in there, and
Yeah, and it was so polarizing for me because I went straight from Young Jedi Knights and Junior Jedi Knights to NJO. So
yeah,
I was like reading Vector Prime, and I was like, "Hey, where'd the wholesomeness go?"
mhm, yeah,
And it was just,
and but it's still there. There are still definitely moments
oh,
of,
absolutely.
but
As I said, like the whole, Mara giving birth to Ben is like my favorite moment in the whole series, and like that's so wholesome. And like, Anakin comes in and is like, "Are they always that ugly?" Like that was hilarious.
yeah,
That's wholesome. But then Anakin dies a book later, and you're like, fuck. So
yeah. So Granny just made a good point here. Safe storytelling does not last forever.
nope.
Your audience will, and especially with something like Star Wars where deaths happen, people
Yes,
die,
yourself.
people
Yes.
get people get upset at that. They don't want safe storytelling.
Yeah.
Wholesome, like, yep,
I
there we go.
I
That was great,
cried.
great moment.
I cried. I cried
So
a lot.
I mean, yeah, this is such a good point, Granny. Like, people are not going to, and that's kind of the. I mean, I hate to bring Disney Star Wars back into this, but that's a reason why some people. I know Max, you enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with
I
that. But a lot,
enjoy some parts of it. The post Return
yeah,
of the Jedi stuff, no, but like the
I think you enjoy it a
Imperial
little
era
bit.
stuff, yes.
You enjoy it more than probably any of us, and that's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of
But if you
people
ask me, I'll
don't
always
like.
pick the EU.
A lot of people don't like the new canon
No,
anymore
I don't
because
blame
of how
them.
safe it is now. I've been told the High Republic isn't as safe because I know there's some characters that
Yeah.
define that, but
Although, okay, I feel like it tries to be like NJO in some ways, like with
well, I think that's a good thing
the
because
amount of death. Like Fallen Star, it was the weakest of the trilogy, if you ask me. And like they were just killing off people left and right, and I was just like, well, what the fuck's the point? Like, I don't care about these people dying. I cared about like two of the characters who died in that book, and I was like, did we already cover what Max's favorite NJO
yes,
book was?
very beginning of the stream.
Unifying Force is my favorite. I have the books
So,
behind me.
but I think that's basically all I've got to ask. If you want to add anything else, Max, any other thoughts you got, you're free to do it.
Okay, I got some
This is your
ideas.
stream, not mine. Well, it is my stream, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Um,
And I got some thoughts.
whatever else you want to say, feel free to do it.
Yeah. So this is honestly the true continuation of Star Wars. Like you guys dubbed me like EU Queen like a while back, but I feel like now I've earned that title. Because I feel like this is like the pinnacle of it. But
Yeah.
this is definitely like this is the Star Wars you want, and like there are certain aspects I can enjoy of the new stuff. Like just for fun, like turn your brain off, have fun. Um, but if you want like a real story and you want a real continuation of Star Wars, this is the way to go. Not me, the books behind me, but you know, and like the characters like are just so much better. Jason, Jaina, Anakin, all them. Yeah, there's just
Yeah.
it's just so much better, and it really I think it captures the heart of Star Wars a lot better than the new stuff does.
Yeah. And I've always said that
Yeah,
this series, especially in the last book with Jason, um, the sequels kind of try and do this, but it really feels like the legacy of Anakin. And
yeah,
you know that because in the very end, Jason, when he's fighting Onemi, guess what? Guess who appears in the end?
Anakin. You have no idea.
Anakin.
I screeched. I
Yeah,
screeched.
he appeared at the end
It was
and gave his
amazing.
grandson some motivation. It was a great scene, and one of the
Oh,
very
it's
few times
beautiful.
Anakin shows up in the EU, or at least as a Force ghost. I don't think he ever
Yeah.
showed up again.
Oh, it's so
I think
cool.
it was this. I'm not going to spoil the other times he showed up because you haven't read the Bantam stuff.
And
Yes,
like,
you can look forward to that in the Bantam era.
there's like,
Um,
you know, and it was so cool because Jason's not obsessed with his grandfather. Like, like Ben Solo is for some reason. You know, he's not obsessed with Anakin Skywalker. Like he's his own person. Like he has his own personality. Like he doesn't base his personality off anybody else. You know, so it was cool to see like that like little interaction between Anakin and Jason. Because I'm like, holy shit, this is Grandpa. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely good. So this series felt like Anakin's legacy. So
Yes,
I've
it
always
did.
described the prequels are the rise and fall of Anakin. Well, I guess the rise. No, the prequels would be the rise of Darth Vader. Originals should be the return of Vader or the return of Anakin. Excuse me.
Anakin, yeah, and
And
then
then the NJO, the sequels
yeah,
are the legacy of Anakin, and I think it really does that in a great way through all the Solo kids. It shows
yeah,
his legacy in an excellent way. Obviously, very well with Anakin Solo, right?
yeah,
But I think obviously, well, Jason was probably the best of because Anakin shows up with him,
yeah.
and Jason's kind of the, I guess, chosen one you could say.
Yeah, I feel like it was
Mhm.
supposed to be Anakin before he died.
It was.
It just
I
got
mean,
passed to
Jason
Jason.
was going to get killed off. It was supposed to be him, and
Yeah,
you can tell that because they didn't know what the hell to do with him
yeah,
the first few books. And then I'm glad they changed it. It gave Jason some time to shine.
yeah. Plus, we get Legacy of the Force, so I'm I'm so excited to get to it.
Yeah.
But I know I'm gonna cry. But
So, anything else? Any other thoughts you got?
um, I really liked Jaina in this. I really liked her whole story in it. I
Yeah.
love Jaina. Y'all know this, but she was great. I really loved it. I loved her joining Rogue Squadron and meeting Jag and uh, being a pilot like she likes to be, and like forming the Twin Sun Squadron and stuff. Well, Luke formed it, but she became like the leader of it. It was just so cool. She's awesome. She's so cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to have
So,
anybody else on here?
yeah, I think we can get some more people on to talk. If you want to talk New Jedi Order, we can do that, or just the EU in general.
Yeah.
So, if you're in the Discord, I'm going to be sending a link in the Jedi Knight.
If Matt Wilkins is still here, does he want to come on?
I'll have to email it to him because he doesn't have Discord.
He doesn't have anything. He's an enigma.
Yeah, he
He's
has
the
freaking
Fury
email.
of this community.
I don't know how I'm gonna email this to him, unless Alex, unless you want to email it to him, because I don't know how I can email this to him. I don't have my
Please
email
help
set up
me
on
find
here.
the Lieutenant Brown Anakin.
If you guys want to send that to him, email that to him. You can. I don't even know if he's still here. But yeah. So if you're in my Discord, look at the Jedi Knight channel. You should, if you have Jedi Knight, and come on in and join. We're gonna talk some more. I'll email. All right. I think you have Jedi Knight, Alex. You should. Where is he at? Well, he has Jedi Master, so yes, he has Jedi Knight, the rank.
But yeah, after experiencing NJO, honestly, it's like a spiritual experience. Like after I finished it, I just kind of had to like sit there and like
It so the
register
Unified
it.
Force is definitely the end game for Star Wars as a whole. It's
Absolutely.
end game like Avengers end game, not just end
Yeah.
game in general. Just like it's like the Avengers end game of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then everything going forward is almost like Phase 4.
Phase 4.
Now I know it's probably a lot better than Phase 4, but that's kind of how I view it.
Yeah.
Which speaking of Phase 4, I'm actually gonna be watching it this Christmas break because I haven't watched a
Nice.
single piece of it yet.
I'm not really caught up on the MCU lately. I haven't seen Black Panther. I've watched all the shows, but that's about it. But I haven't seen Black Panther yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot. I was planning on starting WandaVision tonight.
I love WandaVision.
Again, I haven't. I mean, I know. I mean, I know. I will watch No Way. I actually still have not seen No Way Home, but I will watch that because I do have it on DVD. So I will watch it, and I'll probably just throw in all the other Spider-Man movies in it with it as well.
Nice.
Might as well.
It's a hot take, but I really liked Black Widow. But I'm just a huge Black Widow fan, so.
Hey, nothing. Well, I don't know shit about Black Widow, so
I read all the comics for her. Chris appears interested in advanced chat. Message received. Oh well, you can come on too.
Chris, man,
Everybody is welcome on here. So.
Here, I'll send the link to you on Twitter, Chris, if you'd like to join, because I'm sure you have some great things to talk about.
I'm sorry. I've just known Matt Wilkins a lot more.
Well, Chris, remember, I'm at war with Matt, so
Well, maybe you can make those intentions clear to Mr. Wilkins tonight.
Matt, I don't know if you're still here, but I'm at war with you, bro. I don't know if you know.
After
where's my
reading
message?
it all, like, Young Jedi Knights, Junior Jedi Knights, and NJO, like, I cannot look at anything else the same way in the new canon. I don't want to, like halfway through, I could, but like I hadn't finished it. But now that I've finished it, like I don't want to imagine a timeline like that anymore. That doesn't contain Jaina and Jason and all my favorite characters.
Yeah.
So, like, there's things I can enjoy, but I don't want to go back. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back to that. I really do not. So.
Well, I know you're a big Rey fan.
I do like Rey.
Jaina?
I do like Rey individually as like just Rey. I don't like the stories she's in, but I just like Rey herself. So, but obviously, no. If I had the choice between the both of them, I'm picking Jaina. Obviously, that's obvious.
Yeah, I'm a big Rey fan.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Not really. I don't hate her, but
I like Rey just as Rey. But the story, as I said, the story she's in.
Rey!
But no, Jaina will always be my number one choice. She's Jaina, and that's my next cosplay for her. So
there you go.
I already have some of the stuff picked out for it. I'm very excited.
Rey Skywalker.
Cool lightsaber though.
Yeah, mine's cooler. I don't have a lightsaber, but whatever.
I'm ordering a new one soon. It's like the closest I could find to something that a little bit resembles Jaina's lightsaber. So I'm ordering that.
Well, I can't buy lightsabers because I'm at my mother's jurisdiction. She doesn't trust me with them. Oh. So I don't blame her, to be honest. I'd break stuff because I'm a child.
With it. My Twitter has been like blowing up since like everybody's been retweeting my NJ post.
Well, that's probably OG's fault. Well, yeah. It is.
Well, and you retweeted it.
Oh, well, you have more followers than me. I don't know if you know that on Twitter.
Well, now I have like 400. I don't know. Like yesterday I had like maybe like 350, and now I have like 400. Weird. I don't know where all these people came from. He's popular now. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm popular on my Instagram. My Instagram is where I'm most active. Twitter, I just post random shit on here, and I just like cute stuffed animal pictures. My God, somebody else join, or I'm gonna kill you.
I sent the link. We'll see if people join.
Where's Marcel? Get that Canadian on here.
Speak of the devil, he's here.
Hey,
Marcel. I only joined to put you both out of your misery. So
yeah,
yeah. But we were talking about Vong, so we're.
If a more prominent person wants to come on, like Alex,
there's plenty of
Chris or Matt, I'm happy to jump off.
I think we'll have enough space for him. Well, we will.
Where's Jay? I haven't talked to Jay in a while. I miss him.
What is going on with Jay? Well, you haven't streamed in a while. That's why no one's talked to him.
Yeah. I miss Jay.
Well, I should be streaming a lot more now that I'm out of school for the next couple of weeks. Thank God.
I like when you have specific topics to discuss, like this topic, for example, was epic. But do you also remember that one time that you took to live stream to talk about the Twitter posts that those YouTubers were making, or those TikTokers were making?
Yeah. That was awesome. That was an amazing stream. I love that stream.
That was a great stream.
So much fun. Oh gosh, I don't even think that guy ever. He may have found the channel. I don't know the video. I hope he did.
Yeah,
But-
maybe.
Well, Twitter hasn't blown up in a tirade in forever, so I really hadn't had a chance to do a stream like that again.
Yeah, I need a hot take
Yeah.
to get my Twitter going. I've been pretty inactive on Twitter recently. So
Well, I posted a hot take earlier. It's not being really received that well.
I think
but-
that was more of
Yeah.
a hot take, to be honest. I mean, Kenobi is worse than the sequel.
I fundamentally disagree with that, but that's because I just hate the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh well,
Every
I hate it
Cortland-
too, but I don't know. Kenobi was just, I
it
don't
was
know.
weird.
But
Some
the
people
thing
agree. I mean, Sheev Talks agreed with me. So
Well, Sheev Talks is a Disney show, so right, Sheev. If you're listening to this, you heard that, Sheev.
She,
You know what's funny was I was gonna go post on his Kenobi Part 2 video, being like, great video. It almost made me forget for 5 minutes that you were a Disney show. But I think like I know he won't take it seriously. He'll get a good laugh out of it, but like people on the 29,000 followers that follow him,
Jesus, he has
Yeah,
that many followers.
he has a lot of followers.
Wow.
He's a serious YouTuber. Might
Yeah.
take it seriously, and then they're gonna dox me and come to my house and beat me up. So I didn't post it. But Sheev, if you're listening to this, I love you, but you're a shill.
Damn.
Yeah.
Poor Chief.
dang, personally, I wouldn't take that, bro.
He can come and debate me anytime he wants.
I would never want to debate Marcel. He'd probably kick my ass.
That's not true. I'm too tired to debate. I'm not like Alex.
Well,
Alex-
you're also a lawyer.
I don't like to debate. Plus, we agree on pretty much most things. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
So,
Sheev is an actual YouTuber compared to the rest of us, according to Alex. That's true.
I don't even have YouTube. I'm the Sonic kid that says your actions have consequences.
I wonder who this person is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that name is very interesting. It's not
Yeah.
true. So I think that's Alex, but
I
I'm
haven't
not.
read
Maybe
that.
Chris. Maybe Chris. Maybe Granny. Who knows? Oh, he loves Pablo now. He loves Pablo Hidalgo.
Hidalgo.
Hilgado. That's how he pronounces it.
Elgato.
Elgato. He loves canon. That's not true or false. He hasn't experienced any of it, literally. Except for Filoni's Clone Wars, but it doesn't really count.
No, I don't have the Jedi Knight rule. Why doesn't Granny have the Jedi Knight rule?
I don't know. I don't feel like giving it to him.
If you want, I
We're in
can.
this Discord,
private
so we don't
message.
grant you the rank of
I wonder if
Jedi.
I can unmute this guy's mic. Oh, dang. I can't do that. I can't abuse my power.
Matt Wilkins loves Milkins. Is it Slav?
Nah, Slav would say this out loud. No filter.
Slav is unusually quiet tonight.
Yeah, what's going on? He's uncharacteristic.
Well, he's too busy focusing on the Shock T stories.
The Shock T stuff. He likes. Ew.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and kick this guy out and ban him. Well, I think he left on his own. I didn't ban him, but whatever.
I mean, it is Waru, so like.
Who could that have been? Because I didn't post in the chat or anything.
Was it the real Matt Wilkins or was it somebody else?
No, Matt wouldn't do that. He's too kind for that.
Too kind.
You know what you can do while we're waiting, Max?
What?
You should rank the NJO.
Oh god. Okay.
Use the books behind you as a guide if you'd like. I don't care.
Oh shit. Okay. I mean it's 19, but I'll try. Unifying
nothing
Force. Star by Star. Destiny's Way. Rebel Stand. Traitor. Alright, I can't do anymore. This is top 5 for you.
Hey, top 5. Better than nothing.
Is Trader in your top 5? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
That's all I care about. No further questions. No further
Trader's
questions.
great.
So good. Is this from best to worst? Yeah, in my opinion. But no. It's not like best to worst. Just my top 5.
What was your least favorite? And okay, I actually know this. Force Heretic 1, right? Was your least favorite NJO novel?
Yes.
Yeah. Because it took you like 2 months to get through.
I couldn't do it. I really couldn't.
The first like 15 books took you like a month to get through, and then
and then it was that one, and it was just, oh my god, it hurt. It hurt. I took like a little hiatus there when I got to it, and I went and read Catalyst and the Rogue One novel, and then I read the Path of Deceit in the High Republic Phase 2, and then I came back to it, and I was like, all right, I got you. The only opinion one is forced to have without question is Trader being S tier.
I agree.
Very true. Very true. Worse than Dark. Okay, I haven't gotten to Darkness yet, but it can't be that bad, can it? Darkness.
Well, it made me stop reading the Expanding Universe for like almost a decade. But you make your own decisions. It's fun.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I feel like if I can get through Force Heretic, I can get through that.
Oh, it's better than Force Heretic. It's more interesting, I think.
Okay, cool.
So,
I mean, I really enjoyed Force Heretic 3, though. That one I really liked.
I remember one time I called it Force Heretic, and then like Lance called me out for my pronunciation on it.
I'm excited though to start Darkness. I really am, because like I already missed the characters, and I'm very excited to get back into it. So,
Force Heretic.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember with Darkness. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'll tell you what it's important to remember when you start reading it. But actually, you know what? It's not even a secret because you'll look at it in the timeline. There's a time jump between NJO and Darkness.
Isn't it like a couple years or so?
It's like 5 years, I believe. Yeah. But just
and then after Darkness is another 5 years in between Darkness and Legacy.
Okay.
It's important to remember those time jumps.
Got it.
Things don't stay static. People change over time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna skip over Darkness until you guys told me you're like, oh, you know, it's kind of important to Legacy. I was like, all right, well, we're going into that then.
Yeah, I think it's important to read and know the context.
Yeah, I'm excited though to get into it because I need stuff to read, and I miss the characters.
Why doesn't Alex come on here?
Yeah, when
because his microphone sucks.
I don't think it's his microphone. I think it's his internet.
Right. No. Oh, yeah, his internet, whatever.
I'm excited though to get to Fate of the Jedi too eventually.
Yeah, you've kind of been spoiled because I think you've already read Legacy 1 and 2. So you've, in my opinion, you've read the best of that era.
Oh yeah.
Because Legacy 1 and 2 are peak Star Wars, or at least Legacy 1 is peak Star Wars.
I think Legacy 2 is peak Star Wars. I love Legacy 2. Anya Solo is one of my favorite characters.
No, I liked it too. I just know people maybe like it less than Legacy 1, and so I didn't want to get.
I get that, but I mean, it wasn't as long as Legacy 2, so we didn't. I mean, Legacy 1, so we didn't have like enough stuff there, you know. So it sucks. I wish we could have gotten more. And I feel like we were supposed to.
For sure.
Pain. Because I really enjoy Anya Solo. And it sucks that her story got cut short. She didn't even get to Cade.
There were so many loose threads that they never wrapped up in the Expanding Universe that I would love to know how things turned out, like The Force Unleashed 3.
Oh, yeah.
Dawn of the
Jedi. To have seen, like, what happened to Luke, Han, and Leia.
Yeah. I wonder which author would have the courage to take on that project, because that's going to be heavily scrutinized by fans, right?
James Luceno, do it.
Well, yeah, he might be the only one who has the chops to pull that off.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. Of course, he wrote my two favorite U-books, Plagueis and Unifying Force.
I just read Labyrinth of Evil. I finished it like a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I didn't realize that like the last 100 pages of that book were the Battle of Coruscant, because I never read it before.
Yep.
Crazy.
That book is so cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. because like the
Yeah.
first part of the book is like a mystery, right? It's like
Yeah.
tracking down, Sidious with Newt Gunray's chair,
Yeah.
and then the second part of the book is like one giant battle.
Yeah. That was so cool. And like they fight General Grievous on like the train.
The train,
Yeah.
iconic moment. So what was interesting about that book was that Lucino didn't, which is crazy for him because he's like the continuity king. He didn't mention any of the names of all the Jedi that Grievous indiscriminately kills in that book, but they all have names. Like they've all been identified after the fact. So that's kind of cool.
Alex said the assassin droid AG at 37 in Legacy. The theory is he's C-3PO. That's cool. I don't know. Could C-3PO be AG? Maybe, but I don't think so. That's a cool theory, though.
It was brought up, I think that spoilers, R2D2 appears in Legacy 1
and
does nothing.
Yeah, he's just kind of he pilots with Cade to Coruscant, and then he just stays with the ship the rest of the time.
Yeah, there's a missed opportunity there.
It was cool though to see Cade with R2, because
for sure. Cool. And who gave him R2D2? A Yuuzhan Vong.
Oh well, Kukrook was there too.
Yeah, Kukrook. Yeah, that's right. Maybe.
I think it's so cool that he lives all the way to the Legacy era.
I know, but then it raises questions like, what was he doing during the NJO?
Yeah, what the fuck? Where were you, Kukrook? We could have used your help there, buddy.
I have theories, but it would have been funny because when we last see Kukrook, I think in Dark Times, he's on some remote planet with the Jedi younglings that he's raising. It would just be funny if he just stayed there the entire time. Didn't even realize.
Just hanging out.
The Yuuzhan Vong invasion didn't even happen. He didn't know about it.
There was another species invaded the galaxy. What?
Yeah, it's like, so what did I miss?
The galaxy's just burning and he's just chilling there.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool though that he's around.
And Trasa as well.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Legacy's so dope.
Legacy's great.
And I love that Coruscant is still kind of reeling from being Yuuzhan Tar in the Legacy, because you can see on Coruscant there's still plants hanging off the buildings and stuff. I think that's so cool.
They kind of gloss over that, I think, in Legacy of the Force they don't as much, but in Fate of the Jedi they kind of gloss over that a bit.
Yeah.
But Legacy reminds us that Coruscant was practically Vongified.
Yeah.
Vong formed.
Yeah.
Vong formed. Yeah.
Crazy to think some of the canyons between buildings were just filled with water and stuff. I was wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Granny and I think Alex said that R2 is important to the story and that he should live as long as the story is being told. I agree. I think he's the storyteller. He's the one who's recording it all. He's the only one who didn't get his memory wiped.
There's a really cool thing at the end of this Legacy Epic collection that has the end of C-3PO. It's so weird.
Is it from Tales?
It's from this.
Right, but is it from actually Legacy 2, or is it from Star
Tales.
Wars? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's cool though, because it's on the back it says at the very end of the Star Wars Legends timeline, discover C-3PO's final fate, and it's these aliens just come upon him in a cave, and then he gets his head shot off, and then they're it's so crazy. It's cool though.
He got mutilated.
Yeah, look at him. You can see that there.
Take the L, Rubio.
Yeah, I remember the story because it's in Noah's chronology.
Yeah, it's cool though, because I was how far into the future is this?
I can tell you, actually, maybe.
Really? I've been wondering since I read it.
The ultimate chronology. I'm gonna look in my copy of the chronology.
Oh, that the chronology you got recently.
Yeah, that we edited. Actually, you know what? It doesn't have a date. It's called the story. Is it called the Storyteller?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have a date.
Oh,
Never mind. But
yeah.
it's the last entry in its chronology.
So like maybe it's like even like decades after like Cade Skywalker dies, maybe. Who knows?
It could probably. I'll probably just put it like 100 years after.
This is
That's
how his
probably-
chapter. This is how his chapter starts in Noah's chronology. Centuries, if not millennia, after the time of Luke Skywalker, his life story served as an inspiration to others. So he's saying centuries, if not like hundreds of years, if not thousands of years later. But I think hundreds of years might be more realistic, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool though. And then like this little creature finds like a lightsaber with him with 3PO.
Right. Yeah.
It's cool.
Squidge, I think they're called.
Squid, yeah. I remember reading this and I was like, holy shit. I love that, like just to see like what happens to these characters, like at the very end of it. Like that's the greatest thing about the EU to me is that it spans such a long history, you know?
I know.
It's just such a rich lore and I love it.
I was thinking the other day about how deceptive, though, that title, Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void, is the very first novel in the EU, chronologically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn of the Jedi, if I were just like some random consumer who's only seen the films or something like that, I would look at that on a shelf and I would think, oh, this is about like the creation of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And like kind of, tangentially, but that book has nothing to do with the creation of the Jedi Order.
No. I remember I started reading some of it. Oh, thank you, Chris.
Oh no, Chris. I will leave if that means you join.
You can both be on here, Marcel. There's more than enough room.
We are all keeping the EU alive.
Yes.
All of us.
Alex, thoughts on Vajeri? I know we went over this earlier, but Vajeri was one of the really interesting parts of NJO for me because like she's so like enigmatic and mysterious, and you don't really know what her motivations are during it, and you're like, is she on the Vong side? Is she on the Jedi side? But Vajiri is on her own side, and she's on like Jason's side as well, you know, and like you can sense that like she really does care about Jason a lot, and like she's really kind of interested in him. I know we went really in depth with Vajiri earlier, but Vajiri's great.
Yeah, she's great. She's great in the NJO. I agree.
Mm-hmm. And she's a bird. Burb. Yeah. Dawn of the Jedi. Though I remember I started reading that a while ago, and I had to put it down. I got bored.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here.
Slav.
Hey, are you
Slav.
stupid?
Just so you know, the good guys win and the bad guys lose. Uh-oh, I just spoiled it all for you.
Yeah. The Luke Skywalker wins in the end.
Yeah.
Damn it, I spoiled it again.
Star Wars.
Chad Skywalker wins in the end.
Chad Skywalker.
Yeah. Don't say Chad Skywalker, Saul will think we're talking about him.
I met a guy in
though, like Shimra's death, like that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, he got Dooku'd.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Did you see that coming? The whole thing with Shimra and
No, that blew my mind. I knew nothing about that. I figured, Onimi's like, he'll be like. I feel like he had something up his sleeve. Like maybe he'd be like the penultimate boss. But I figured I was like, Shimra would be the ultimate bad guy. And then when Shimra just, I was like, oh. And then like Onimi, like he's the real Supreme Overlord. I was like, what?
That was pretty crazy, eh?
Yeah, I really did not expect Onimi. I didn't expect anything of Onimi, but I guess that was the point. So, but yeah, that little bitch. Fuck you, Onimi. Fuck that guy.
It's not mentioned in the books, but there is a Yuzon Vong Sith that joins Darth Krayt's Sith Order, the one Sith.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not shown in like Legacy? Unless I don't remember.
Darth Vua. If you Wikipedia Darth VUA.
Like Vua Rupong. I missed that guy.
I think it actually might be, maybe not Vua Pung, but
Well, he's dead, so.
it was a Yuzon Vong Force user, a Slayer, one of the genetically modified warriors bred by Shimmer.
What?
Yeah. This butcher who failed in his mission was found and captured by Darth Krayt's Order of the One Sith after the war ended. And
That's fucking sick. So I guess Onimi wasn't the only one with force sensitivity.
That's right. He was in the Essential Guide to Warfare, but it was cut out. So I guess canonicity is kind of in question. But yeah.
That is so cool. That is so sick. A Yuzan Vong Sith Lord. Oh my god, that's so cool.
A Sith Lord?
That is so awesome.
I know.
Wow. That's so sick.
I mean, can you imagine how sadistic he would be too?
Yeah, like, oh my god. That's fucking cool. That is so cool. I'm sorry, that just kind of blew my mind.
No, it's all good. It blew my mind too, because I didn't know about it before I was editing the chronology, and then I learned about it and I said, yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Okay.
So other than like the obvious death, what was the other death that really like got to you in NJO?
So besides like the you know,
The
like
big one.
Chewie and
Oh,
Anakin,
okay, the big two, I guess. The big
yeah.
two. Yeah. Because there's a couple, like there's like Elagos, there's
Yeah.
there's BF.
Doesn't Tanael die? Tanael Joe?
Either that or she goes into like catatonic or something like that. She
I
goes
think
into like
she
a
dies.
catatonic state. Yeah, maybe she does.
Yeah, I think Tanael
You guys
Joe
are gonna
died.
be blown away again.
Why?
Darth Vua was not the only Sith Yuzon Vong, or dark side Yuzon Vong. That's probably a better term. There was a Vong whose name was, well, on the forums her name was Vongarella, but originally she was nameless. That's not her real name, for the record, but that's what, you know.
What was she in?
She was a dark Jedi, hiding in the cloak of the Sith region. She didn't manage to capture Kyle Katarn, who was investigating rumors of a reemergence of the Sith. Kyle Katarn was rescued by a team put together by Jan Ors, Marjorie Skywalker, and Jaden Core. The cyborg Day was subsequently turned back to the light. He then revealed not only the presence of his force-sensitive Yuzon Vong, but also that she had a master. But she was mentioned in an adventure seed in the Dark Forces saga, which is like it was a role-playing game.
Okay.
That's crazy.
So it's on Wikipedia. Just look up Vongarella, and there's even a picture of her.
Vongarella. Let's see this.
But I'm trying to figure out though, like which other death like got me in NJO. I don't know.
Well, what's interesting is I was reading about Darth Vua, and the reason why he was force sensitive was since he was a Slayer, he was bred from force sensitive human slaves, grown from tissue samples taken from Jedi that had been augmented and transformed by Yuzon Vong shapers to serve Supreme Overlord Shimmer Jamain as a lead
Maybe
warrior.
that's why Onimi was force sensitive. Like maybe.
Well, Onimi, I mean, he had been around before even the invasion, so there was no way they could have gotten tissue samples from humans.
That's true.
Although it looks like he was forced to become a one Sith.
Hasn't there been Vong in the galaxy since like the Mandalorian Wars and like the Jedi Civil War? Because I know there's something where
there had been scouts, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't like never like mention something about like a living asteroid that like melted their armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I watched the video on that.
Also, I just want to say Noah's chronology, chapter 25 of part, for people who own it, part 8 mentions Vongarella. So, boom.
I'm just trying to think
But
of.
Darth Vua, he actually served. He was actually in the war, the Vong War, and
Yeah.
he must have become a one Sith like while it was still in hiding. So he wasn't around during Legacy.
I think one of the death. Well, Nen Yem probably. Nen Yem was like that kind of hurt a little bit because like she was kind of starting to like really like come around and like her and Tahiri were kind of bonding.
That's right.
Like, I was sad to see Nen Yem go because I was like, oh shit, there's kind of like a little thing going on with her and Tahiri because they shared those memories, and then it didn't happen because Naminor put a rock on her head.
Yeah, that's too bad. Because I feel like she was a character that could have existed in the Legacy era or even beyond.
And I was upset that Harar had died and then he came back and I was like, yes! I like Harar.
Priest Harar.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I've been rereading the EU, but I'm probably going to save New Jedi Order for last, last thing that I read, which means that I probably won't get to it until 2024 because it's going to take me that long to reread through all the novels. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I'm very excited for you to read it again.
After that, I don't know. Like, where does one go? What's your life now going forward? What's left for you?
I've been thinking about that. Like, what happens after I finish like Fate of the Jedi and like everything else? I'm like, what do I do? Well, I'm gonna read the Jedi Academy trilogy after that. So.
Yeah, you can get the Old Republic and just play through the storylines.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good enough laptop or computer. So.
Disney EU is next. Max is already well versed in the Disney EU, at least the High Republic era.
Yeah,
there is no Disney EU. EU is pre-Disney.
Yeah.
I don't like EU. Is just EU. EU is not.
I want to reread Legacy. I gotta reread that again because it's just so good. I love Legacy.
It's gonna be a lot better now that you know the context to all the Vong stuff.
Because like when I first read it, it was like a couple of years ago, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And now I get it. So, I'm excited though to get to Legacy of the Force though. That's been my most anticipated thing. Because
Hey Marcel.
Yeah, what's up?
You should make a video on Candace Ordo and his encounter with a specific asteroid ship.
I made an Instagram post about it like a couple months ago, I think. A few months ago.
You gotta make a video about it because that was one of the coolest freaking things from that game.
Yeah, I agree. It was great. But it makes me wonder, like, were they scouting the galaxy at that point, or was that just like some random rogue?
No, they were scouting. They've been scouting that galaxy for years.
I tried to like figure out like when exactly they could have been like on their way. Like they must have been like doing like I don't know, like the very like Tales of the Jedi era. Maybe they were like just on their way here. I don't know. Or like maybe just arriving like the time like of Exar Kun.
Right.
Oh.
Maybe they came during the SWOTOR era and they're like, oh, this place is messed up. Let's just come back later.
Yeah, we'll come back later. And then like there was that scrapped like Clone Wars arc where like there was gonna be like the Yuuzhan Vong Scout and stuff.
That's right.
I wonder where we'd be today if that arc actually like happened and like was put on screen and like you could watch it. Like, would NJO still be considered canon? Who knows? Probably not. But like they'd probably have to do something with the Vong if that arc like did pan out,
Yeah. I don't know that I would have liked that. Yeah. I'm glad that didn't happen because I feel like it would have contradicted the NJO, even though it's about the Vong. I feel like, would have been like the Vong, Filoni's take on the Vong, and I just don't.
I don't even want to imagine that.
He would have had it so that Ahsoka wins and beats them back, and that they just never invade the galaxy again because She taught them a lesson, and therefore the NJO never happens in the first place.
Ahsoka achieves oneness and defeats Supreme Overlord Shimura.
Yeah, she just, goes Captain Marvel and flies through all the world ships, and they all explode in a giant chain.
Oh my god.
Disgusting. Don't ever say that kind of Jedi heresy ever again.
Jedi heresy.
Perfection.
Granny says, "Oh God, Filoni Vong arc." It's terrifying.
Freaking disgusting. And people be like, you know what? They should make a new Jedi Order series. Just have Filoni at the helm.
No, I had somebody in my Twitter comments being like, "Oh, like they should have the Vong in the new stuff." I was like, "Nope, no, they shouldn't."
I would rather crap in a bowl and eat that crap slowly.
Yeah, it just wouldn't really make sense. I actually don't even really know what the timeline is for the new stuff. Like, like with the EU, I have like a good sense of like when it's in place. Like, the Jedi Academy trilogy is like 7 years after Return of the Jedi, like stuff like that. But like, I don't know in the canon. I don't know when Luke's order was destroyed by the Knights of Ren or whatever.
Yeah, they're never really clear on that. And it wasn't even destroyed.
They just revealed what planet it happened on.
Yeah.
That was apparently, it wasn't really that much of a, they didn't create a new planet. They just said, it's Ossus.
Ossus, yeah.
Or whatever happened. Like, I don't know whoever destroyed his academy. It might have been R2. I don't know.
Have you read the Rise of Kylo Ren comic?
Yeah, I read it was like a 4-issue miniseries or something like that.
Yeah, so apparently it was like Palpatine, like from Exegol, created like a force storm and blew up the temple. And I remember reading that for the first time. I was like, that is the stupidest shit ever. Because I went into that thinking, I was like, oh, I'm going to see Kylo Ren like turn against the Jedi, and I'm going to sound like Star Wars Theory here and like go and ham and kill everybody, in the Jedi Temple. But that didn't happen. I was like, but they had mentioned like that Kylo has the title of Jedi Killer, like he's known as Jedi Killer, and then he didn't kill any of them except for like 3. So it was really stupid.
Yeah. I just remember watching The Force Awakens and being like, this has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
and they really capitalize. Like the Knights of Ren don't even appear in the last Jedi, I don't think.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's stupid. I remember like when Last Jedi was coming out, I was like, oh, we're gonna see the Knights of Ren, blah blah blah, and then it just didn't happen. And then we got really shit stuff in it. So yeah. Pain.
But I just don't think they can do NJO in the new canon, because like where would it fit, and who would be there to fight them? Like the
yeah. Oh, Dameron. Hold on.
Well, they could do that.
Any like Imperial remnant to help out?
Yeah, there's none of that.
At the end of Rise of Skywalker, like there's really no Republic or Empire or anything.
No. So.
Well, they would just say, well, it's the First Order remnant.
Hey. What does the First Order have? Stupid. Are they gonna go find another living planet? Are they gonna recanonize Zenoma Zakat? Stupid. I would not let them do NJO. Like, I'm already dreading that they're gonna do like an Heir to the Empire thing. Like, I'm not looking forward to that. Like, the more I hear about it, I'm like, please don't, please fucking don't. But I know they're gonna. They're like, oh, Mount Tantus was in Bad Batch, and I was like, So,
yeah,
we know where we're headed. Agony.
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
I'm surprised no one else joined the stream. I was just killing time until somebody else joined.
I know. Where is everybody? Y'all suck. I'm kidding. I love this. I love this page right here.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Acid rain, or the glass rain that they have on this planet. It's such a good comic.
Is that the Legacy? Is that Legacy 1 and 2, or is it just 2?
Just 2.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Legacy 1's like 50 issues. Never mind.
Yeah. This is. I wish I had the Legacy 1.
The omnibus.
Yeah, I
There's
wish
like
I
a
had.
hardcover omnibus, I think, that collects all of Legacy. And there's one for the Knights of the Old Republic as well, which I would love.
I wish. I have just this, and I have the Tales of the Jedi Epic Collection.
Yeah, I think I have that one, plus Infinities, plus like one of the earlier ones that came out, Rise of the Sith Volume 2 or something like that, because
Yeah,
it was like the only it's the only print copy of, like the Republic comics. There was an
yeah,
issue 0 called Prelude to Rebellion, which is the very first arc in the
yeah.
Republic comics, and it's a web comic, but they reprinted it in one of the Epic collections. It's the only time it's ever been in print, so I
Yeah.
had to get it.
Also, Nazo, you can come on. You're not imposing. Anybody is welcome on the stream.
Yes, please, Nazo, come on so that I can hop off.
Why? Why?
'Cause I'm
We
old,
like having you
tired.
here.
I'm old and tired, and I need to go lie down.
Oh my god. You're like Yoda.
Exactly.
Soon will I rest?
Forever sleep.
Rest I must.
Rest I must.
Forever sleep. That
Forever
Nazo
sleep.
needs the link.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some more of the Epic collections. Like, I want the Legacy ones so bad, but they're so expensive. There is one, though, that's not too bad, and it just came out. It's the one with the Crimson Empire trilogy in it that I really want to get.
Yeah, that one's good. My only gripe about that one is it didn't have the Crimson Empire handbook in it. The handbooks were like these like single issues put out by Dark Horse. They had one for Dark Empire, they had one for Crimson Empire. I think there's one for KOTOR, but it basically was like, here are the things. Or Legacy had one too. It's like these are like the major factions, and these are like the major characters, and it was just like a fact file basically.
I think this one has it. This one has like a bunch of that kind of stuff in here, sort of. I think there's like a bunch of art, and it shows like this one has it. It has like the Sith threat remains, and it talks about like Anya Solo and stuff.
Yeah, see, I think that stuff was from like the Legacy handbook.
Yeah, these are cool. Talks about like Darth Red and whatnot.
There was supposed to be a game where Darth Maul would have come back in the Legacy era, like Darth Krayt's era.
Ooh.
And this is before Legacy 1 takes place, like less than a decade before it takes place.
Yeah.
And he was going to team up with Darth Talon. This isn't like George Lucas' sequel trilogy. It's something different. And he's going to team up with Darth Talon. And he was going to fight the one Sith and basically kill a whole bunch of them.
Damn.
Yeah, and it never occurred. Let me see what it was called. It was supposed to be called maybe not Jedi Outlaw. That's something else. Anyways, yeah, Darth Maul game. But that would have been cool, I think, to play, because we never really got a video game placed in the Legacy era. So
yeah, that would have been awesome. I didn't just taken any more of the Star Wars games like 1313. I wish that could have been put into production. I would have loved to have played that.
Yeah, Darth Maul game canceled. Let's see.
Sad. Wasn't there like gameplay of it?
Battle of the Sith Lords is what it was called.
Ooh. Hi, Nazo.
Hello. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So Marcel, obviously, I get because of your age that you feel like you need to pull out, but yeah, Max, we need to hook you up with like more comics. All right.
Yeah.
We really do.
Most of my comics are digital. I've read like that's how I read Legacy. I read them all off Comixology, but I want them in print.
No, I get the feeling. I get that. I get that because you want to be able to just have them just in general just to read in case your internet's out or something like that. But yeah, like you when it comes to Legacy, you may have to bite the bullet for the trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
Either that or try to get yourself hardcovers. If I could afford the hardcovers, I would get them.
I I certainly can't. I spend my money on too many action figures and stuff. I just won a bidding war for the 3 3/4 inch Jaina Solo figure, like the really old one.
Ooh.
It was a very fierce bidding war last night, and it went from like $61 to like $115, and I was like, I had to do
Wow.
it. So
I mean, is the figure rare?
yeah, absolutely. Other ones.
Okay, then I understand. If it wasn't like a rare figure, then I would have completely understanding like tapping out.
Rare.
Oh, Alex is on.
Hi, Alex.
Hello. I heard we wanted to get rid of the old people.
Yeah.
No, just Marcel wants to tap out. Lance has not said a thing.
Well, because I want to go play SWOTOR while listening to the stream, but then I don't have to contribute.
Why can't you do both? You should give commentary when you're playing.
No, that's not happening.
Well, he can give commentary when he feels like he has something to say.
That's so true. And also, wait a second. Have I just caught a contradiction in Marcel's? Because before I came on here, he said he had to go and sleep because he's old. Now he's saying he wants to go play video games. So what is it?
No, it's not. That's not a contradiction. That's a retcon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a retcon right there.
I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
What else? Characters.
Jaina Solo.
Jaina Solo.
Anakin Solo.
Oh, Jason Solo.
I
Absolutely.
love how they're all solos. Goddamn.
Jaina Solo, Anya Solo.
Oh, I mean, do you want a non-Skywalker blood? Then obviously my boy Kip Duran, #1 best Jedi, outside of the main ones.
I disagree. My boy Kyle Katarn.
Kyle Katarn's cool, but he's no Kip.
I'm gonna get a lot of shit.
Kyle Katarn is the Chuck Norris of Jedi, dude.
I know he is, but I like Kip more.
There is no chin under his beard, only another fist.
That's true. He goes fucking crazy in the Jedi Academy game where he just is basically invincible and he just kills everything.
He kind of has a sadistic laugh in the Jedi Academy.
He does.
Game, too,
He'll be killing everybody. He's like, ha ha ha. God.
I'm like, Kyle, I didn't know you had this side to you.
I chose the dark side ending on one of my playthroughs of that, and he kicked my ass at the end. It was insane.
I'm not surprised.
He kicked my ass.
I paced myself with Padawan difficulty, so I'm like...
I was playing on Padawan, and he still kicked my ass.
Jaden Core's friend is voiced by Goofy's son, right?
Yeah, Jason Marston.
Yeah.
I played female Jaden Core, so.
Jaden, hey! I need you to help me find my dad!
No, not Jaden Core, his friend, or the guy that he's with at the academy. I heard it. I was like, wait a second, is that Max? No, Charlie was right. Oh.
But
yeah, that is Max.
Not me.
Crazy. No, not you.
Not you. No, the other Max.
Disney Max before Disney took over.
But you guys said Kip Duran and Kyle Katarn. I'm gonna get a lot of shit, but Corin Horn for me.
Oh,
no, that's fine. That's a popular. That's a popular
pick.
I love
Corin.
It's like a top.
No, that's a popular pick.
I know you guys probably know Wilkins' take on Corin Horn's Jedi power.
I hate iJedi. I hate iJedi because it pisses on Jedi Academy, and it pisses me off because I love Jedi Academy.
My first interaction with Corin was through NJO, so that's all I knew of him. I haven't read the X-Wing books. I haven't read iJedi. I plan to. But
mine was through the abridged X-Wing audiobooks, and yes, I do plan on going through the unabridged, obviously. But the abridged, I loved the abridged ones. So how much am I going to love the unabridged ones?
Yeah.
Even more so, because there's so much dialogue in those. But I like Corrin in X-Wing. I have no issue with Corrin whatsoever. I don't hate him at all. I know Matt kind of does because of iJedi. I just hate iJedi specifically for crapping on another person's work. But I just don't find Corrin that interesting as opposed to other Jedi. But I don't
speaking of X-Wing books, though, I got to ask, Stackpole or Alston?
Alston, all the way.
It's
I'm Stackpole.
That's fair.
They're both top.
The only character I really liked from Alston's books, actually two of them, were Face and Piggy. Piggy carried the fucking team. Excuse my language.
I'm rereading Wraith Squadron right now. And
yeah. I got introduced to Wraith Squadron through NJO as well, and I really liked Piggy. Piggy was cool.
Oh yeah, Piggy.
Right. Marcel, look me in the eye, figuratively, not literally, and tell me Piggy does not do the hard lifting there.
No, yeah, I think the cast all around.
Face does, but you know what?
I'm like Piggy's back hurts from carrying the team.
Also, Seth's sexualness is a bit weird. You haven't read the whole books of those X-Men books. Get to those parts where Korn starts talking about the time that he did with the Solacen or a Bothan or whatever, and he's talking about how like when you go through the canal or whatever, that it's like going through rocks until you get that sweet spot in the center. And I'm like, what am I reading? Is this a fan fiction or is this Star Wars? It's like that in depth. And I'm like, I didn't need to hear this.
You know what?
Because Gavin wants to get with the Bothan, and he's like, let me give you my experiences. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Stop talking.
Because Corin's a Chad. That's why.
You talking about Gavin Darklighter? What the?
Yeah, so he asked Corin for advice, and then Corin gives him a very detailed explanation of what it's like to do it.
What, with the Sullustan?
So it's Solonian, not
Solonian. Sorry, Solonian.
Giant otter people from.
Well, Solonians are still humanoid, aren't they? Let me hold on.
They look like otters.
What's your problem, Alex? They're mammals, okay? They're sentient mammals.
Hang on, I want to see what a Solonian looks like.
Look, I'm tolerant to an extent, but the furry stuff where I start freaking out a little bit, you know.
What about Twi'leks?
Oh yeah, I see your point.
You know
what?
I would say Twi'leks,
my buddy CT might like this alone. Might like this alone. Those might be cool.
Zeltrons, please.
Zeltrons?
They're just pink humans.
Delia Blue?
Yeah. Delia Blue is so much better than Talon. She's so much better than Talon in every way.
What was it in Lance's server the other day? They were talking like, I think it was Jay and Slav or something with it.
Yeah.
That I can't remember, but they were talking about like they were sharing pictures of like, you know, Star Wars chicks. One of them was I think a Zeltron. Another one was Shizor's niece.
Oh no, that was another one. Steve Perry's Shadow of the Empire. That freaking scene is so uncomfortable. but yeah. As to the Olston question, I mean, Iron Fist made me cry, and the only other Star Wars books that have managed to do that is Legacy of the Force, which is funny enough, and it's not because of the thing you're thinking of. It was actually a minor scene in like book 2, but it got me. And I won't say anything because spoilers, but yeah, there's only 2
times. Is it that particular character's death?
No, it's not that at all. But it was just a little scene between people. I mean, it's a serious scene, but I don't want to talk spoilers. So, but it got me. The dialogue was just. I think Karen Travis writes really good. So, but
wait. Which books are you talking about? Because you mentioned Karen Travis.
I was talking about Legacy of the Force. She wrote book 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she wrote 3 books in that series.
Yeah, before they booted her.
Yeah. Well, she booted herself because of Filoni.
Yeah.
She would have wrote more, but.
Well, they basically told her in no uncertain terms to rewrite her entire lore, and she's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, she has every right to do that. I don't like her preachiness because she's very adamant about certain things. But I mean, I think she still writes really well. She's just like, if she has like a point to make, she's gonna hammer that point in. Like Jedi are evil because they kidnap children and use clones when they're people, and she's very adamant about it. And it's like, I get it after the first 100 pages, but then she'll keep going.
Well, again, the kidnapping children is a misconception, obviously.
Yeah, to an extent, but then you also have Coruscant Nights where they do basically take Lauren's kid without asking.
That to me that was the tricky case. I'm like, he initially gave his kid, but then they fired him because they were worried.
Right.
He would
He's
form
like,
some.
I'll give you my kid, but I'm like a janitor here at your temple, so I can still see my kid.
He wasn't a janitor. He was like a temple security guard.
Oh yeah, okay. And then they're like, "Oh, you gave us your kid? You're fired. You can't come in here anymore." And he's like, "What?" So, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he was pretty adamant. He's like, like the Jedi wouldn't let me see my kid. And again, that's to me, that's the tricky case. That's that's the one where the shady politics come in. But I've seen cases, particularly that short comic in Star Wars Tales, where Mace Windu pretty much proves Viana de Pau wrong, and
Yeah, that's
actually
true.
erases the kid's name from the records so that he could live a normal life.
Right, I forgot about that, but I do remember that now.
A lot of people do. Here's something I'll say. I understand where Travis is coming from with her books.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like her books can be anti-Jedi propaganda at times. They are.
Yeah, I still enjoy her writing though. I think she's a good writer. She's just preachy.
Oh yeah, no, same. I actually, I do genuinely enjoy her writing. There's some books I'm just okay with that she did. Some that I think are really good. The two in particular that I liked out of her works were 000 and Order 66.
Yeah, Order 66 got a bit fanfiction-y for me with how much it's just talking and people hanging out, but I liked more of her earlier ones.
I think there's a lot more talking and people hanging out in 000 actually, and that's kind of why I liked it, because it wasn't your straightforward. Because like First Contact is a straightforward. It's a very straightforward book. It's by the numbers, kind of like how the first Rogue Squadron was.
Yeah.
Same,
yeah.
and the same the first book in the Jedi Academy trilogy was like that. A lot of first books do that. They're the by the numbers. Here's the introduction. Here's the characters, and so they just end up being mediocre because you know what to expect. It's not until like the second and third book where things actually start to get interesting. Like the second book, again, it was more. It felt like it was a mission, but like a slice of life mission.
I like the second book for that reason. My only issue with the second book is how rushed the romance is. Had that maybe happened in the third book, I would have been more okay with it.
Yeah. The romance is a little. I
it really goes from friendship to I love you, and I'm like, what?
There.
Yeah, but
yeah, no, it's a little rushed, but I understand why Travis wanted to get it out of the way.
And then Legacy of the Force, I think, is the best. So.
I still need to do Legacy of the Force, but I want to go through New Jedi Order. I'm through most of the prequel books. I'm going through the Dark Time books, which by the way, Lance, I finished the first Han Solo book. Oh my god, dude!
One.
The AC Crispin one. Paradise Snare.
Really
that
good.
one was so fantastic, and I'm currently on Hutt Gambit, and I'm enjoying that one.
I absolutely love AC Crispin's books.
Oh yeah, no, and there was a scene, a part of the book, because I used an e-reader and I screenshotted a particular scene. I'm like, it talks about what's her name, Anna Blue. Mm-hmm. She was like a really attractive lady, and like she showed leg and midriff and boob, and mind you, this is written by a woman. This is written by a woman, not a man who's trying to fulfill. A woman who's literally just writing realistic characters, including like a super attractive woman, and I'm like, yeah, writers nowadays don't have that balls anymore. They don't have that anymore. They don't have the gusto to write something like that.
Story. And AC Crispin is that she went out of her way to ask like multiple authors, like, "Hey, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right?" Because she really wanted to honor like every single bit of information involved Han Solo.
Yeah. I didn't understand why she dedicated the Hutt Gambit to, and this is kind of spoilery if anybody hasn't read it. I didn't understand why she dedicated the second book to Kevin J. Anderson until a certain character pops up and tells Han his destiny, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see the connection there. Oh my god, that's amazing.
And they told her to frick off, you weirdo lady.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Han didn't remember her either, but like it makes sense. It
was many years. So, and there's a lot of
I know.
drinking between that and gambling and
There's like older ladies on Narshada, like an old Twi'lek lady coming on to Han and stuff like I love it just because he's just like, oh, and she's coming, and his face, he like the book talks about how his face got all red, like he's like, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm not really in the mood for that right now. I'm kind of
I'm
on the
making another love
job.
interest for Han. When everybody uses like Leia and Han as like a staple of like not even Star Wars romance, but romance in movie like history. Like Leia and Han are up there. So the fact that she was able to make somebody else and make you actually care about her and be like, man, I can actually see that working. Before
Oh
Leia
yeah,
even
yeah.
comes into the
Particularly
picture,
with the
is
first book
incredible.
with Bria Theron, like
Yeah.
part of me, like, what's weird is like I knew that the romance was not going to work out, but at the same time, part of me wanted it to, and knew that that disappointment was going to hit Han. And again, even though I know it's coming,
Mhm.
I still felt like all the damn man, like those that feeling of I still felt Han's disappointment as the book went on, and I'm like, God,
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew this was coming, and I'm still feeling. That's just a credit to Crispin's writing. Like, rest in
Exactly.
peace to that woman, by the way.
And then she would also write
God
like these,
rest
like,
her
little-
soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And she would write like these minor things. Like she mentioned once how I think it was in Paradise Snare where where Han's just sitting there like reflecting on stuff, and he talks about like how he didn't know his family or anything, and how he thinks that he could be a good dad if he was given a chance, and that's just given so much more weight when you later go on to read, like the Bantam era and NGO and everything. You're like, man, you did it. You got your dream.
Weird.
Yeah, and then of course, like his obvious grief, I know, is reflected in NJO. And given who raised him, his attachment
Right.
to Chewbacca
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense to me.
Yes. Yeah. Without spoilers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say who raised him.
Yeah.
I will say when you meet the character Screw Garrus Shrike.
Mm-hmm.
I raised Han Solo. I'm his mom.
Well, Garrus Shrike did, but there's another one who, without spoilers, who.
Yeah, no, I don't mind spoiling that guy because, like,
yeah, everybody knows.
I want you to hate Garrus Shrike because you're going to hate him.
Is that the guy that appears in Dark Empire?
No, you are talking about Mako Spence.
Yeah, it's different.
See, I always get him confused. And Shug Ninx, I think, is the other dude.
Yeah.
From Dark Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, Garrus Shrike is, I'll say, not a factor by Dark Empire. Won't go that far.
Oh, thanks. No, it's okay. I already know everything.
It's funny. Even though I never watched or I don't really remember Solo, the movie, I think it's one of the few Disney things I've glanced. Weirdly enough, and maybe this is only because I saw the trailers for Solo first, I kind of envisioned Garrus Shrike as the guy that like one guy in Solo that kind of serves a similar purpose. I don't know if you know
you're talking about Tobias Beckett, right?
Woody Harrelson.
I think so. Yeah,
Tobias Beckett is a league's better mentor than Garrus Shrike.
Yeah, but that's what I kind of envisioned as Garrus Shrike.
Tobias
Which I think kind of works out.
Beckett.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought process. Even Woody Harrelson is playing Garrus Shrike, kind of.
Yeah. Because he's also in like Hunger Games, so I thought like an evil version of that. And I was like, perfect. So.
But, oh, sorry. Who was just talking? I'm sorry.
That was Maxine.
No, I was just saying, how is everybody's day?
Mine was okay. Kind of a lazy day.
Good.
How was yours, Maxine?
I had a lazy day, too. I didn't do much.
Same. It was my day off, so I just worked out and read. I will start Dark Empire when I'm not working an 8-hour shift. So
I'm off today.
I hear that.
Which means I got to make a essential intro for those particular reviews.
If I have time, I will put something together that you don't have to use as an intro, but you should
Okay.
definitely like upload to your channel.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna have my. I was gonna
An alternate take.
record. Yeah, I was just gonna record myself. Freaking either on my phone or on my.
Don't tell people. Don't tell people. Keep it a secret.
Oh.
No, are you gonna do reviews for the new Jedi Order, Alex?
I already have, but I'm going to reread them. Yes.
Okay. You should definitely do what Wilkins did, which is like make a specific special intro for that series.
Perhaps I did that for Legacy of the Force, but.
Well, one thing that people, because I think you can technically count, even though it doesn't have any shows or video games connected, I think you can technically count the new Jedi Order as a multimedia project because it has short stories and comics along with the novels. And what a lot of people don't realize is that it's an era on its own. Like you know, you have the prequel era, you have the OT era, the New Republic. That's an entire era all by itself.
Yeah.
19 books.
Yeah, I know. I read it was freaking crazy. Only part that sucked is same for Maxine when I got to Force Heretic. That was a slog, but I got through it, and I got to the what was it called? What was the one after Force Heretic? Prophecy.
Final Prophecy.
Yeah, that was so good. It was such a breath of fresh air.
I knew.
I will say this because I haven't gone through the new Jedi Order, but the ending has been spoiled for me. This is even before you, Max. Somebody else that Wilkins spoiled this for me, but we all know obviously that the final boss was Onimi.
Mm-hmm. I think you have to read it first before you make your. I heard it in the comments, but I think if you read it, you wouldn't have the same.
It probably will change my perspective. But this is a trope that kind of annoys me, and I can understand. I'm sure you guys can understand why.
Yeah.
The ending is pretty much the end of every threat in the start. The dark side did it.
I don't think that's what it was going for, though. That's not how the story really makes it sound.
No. I get that Onimi was the true mastermind, and again, that's not the part that bothers me. I'm like, okay, that's the man behind the curtain logic. I actually like that trope, but my problem is that Shimra was manipulated by Onimi through the dark side. So I'm like, okay, so this is once again the dark side's fault. It's not that they're just angry and bloodthirsty. No.
Well, but they were like that before Omni, though.
Yeah.
They were like that before Omni did anything. That's been their culture for a while.
Yeah, so I know, and that's where I'm like, that I like that aspect. The problem is that they didn't decide to fully invade until Onimi was like, yes.
Well, they didn't decide to fully invade until they felt that they could adequately do it, and I think it actually works with Bantam if you read that first, because even though it's silly that there's a bunch of super weapons, and I talked about this in the comments. Our heroes unknowingly get rid of literally every advantage they could possibly have by getting rid of all those silly super weapons. So by the time they get to NGO, all the things that might have made them all scared, there's no reason to fear anymore. Like they didn't show up during the original trilogy because there was a Death Star and a big giant empire that would have destroyed them. So they stayed back. They didn't do it during the prequels because there was still a strong, well, at least by the Clone Wars time, there was a strong army. So they didn't do that then either.
And like you said, during the era of the New Republic, there was a whole bunch of super weapons. There was like the Sun Crusher.
But then they got rid of it. So the reason they come to attack is because there's nothing really opposing them now.
And then
there was still Centerpoint Station. I know about what
they didn't really know about
that. On that though, they freaked out on Centerpoint. They were like,
they did.
They're like, no super gun, no super gun.
Well, Centerpoint Station was a mystery, and it was only slightly talked about in the Corrupt trilogy where Thraken's introduced. Thraken is the evil twin trope of Han Solo. But they use that. That's like their only super weapon they still have in New Jedi Order. But the thing is with Omni, even if he's using the dark side, I don't even think he really he doesn't follow the philosophy of the dark side. He doesn't know what the dark side is.
Yeah.
He's just using the Force.
So to him, it's just using Vong magic. That makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't know what the Force is or anything like that.
Okay, with that context in mind, it actually does sound better.
Yeah, well, because they're outside of the Star Wars. They have no reference to the only time they learn about Jedi is when they come to invade. They know what Jedi were before that.
Yeah.
So, and the reason that they have the Force or the reason that they're outside the Force is revealed by the end of the series, how that all works and everything. So I won't spoil that for you. But yeah,
well,
like I said, if you read it
Wilkins already spoiled that for me.
Oh well, okay, but yeah, point being, I think if you read it in context, you won't have an issue with it.
No, probably not. I'm guessing once I go through it, I'll probably be like, this is the best thing in Star Wars, and anybody else who says otherwise is wrong.
I mean, even if you want to still
your
argue
opinion is automatically invalid.
Yeah, I mean, even if you want to argue that the dark side was still like, if you want to like talk about like, this is a whole other debate of, is like the Force like an actual like deity type thing where it has a will of its own, because that's an argument that people make and that's an interesting topic. But I mean, even if the dark side has a will or whatever, it's not something that Omni's aware of, even if he is serving the will of the Force.
Oh yeah, no, it almost gives off. Actually, it's almost a little more nuance to the writing in that regard, because it gives off the idea that even the man behind the curtain isn't actually running the show. Which is kind of terrifying if you think about it, because you're like, well, who's actually running the show? I don't know. Could be the dark side.
That's why Freya in KOTOR 2 wanted to get rid of the Force itself, because she saw the Force is evil. So, which is why I think she would have an interesting conversation with Verge. Now, Verge doesn't have the same beliefs as her, but I still think they're more alike than disalike, so it would be interesting to hear them talk.
I don't know. I feel like with Vergier, because she didn't blindly agree with Kreia, there'd be a lot of influence lost there.
Yeah. Well, you can't do anything right with Kreia.
Believe it or not, by some miracle, I actually managed to gain influence with her.
Yeah.
Like, I actually managed... I don't know how I did it, but I tiptoed the right conversation properly to get enough influence to hear her entire sort of story. So I'm like, okay, somehow I did it. Yay.
Lance, are you still alive?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. You've just been quiet for a long time on your own stream.
Well, I'm currently talking to... I was having a serious moment on my phone, but... I was
talking to that girl, weren't you?
Oh.
I was talking to Alex's mom.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Good
was
one.
talking to her, but I was also talking to her friend. But whatever, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Hello, friends.
I'm going to convert my mom to Catholicism. She needs God.
No, I'm going to convert you to Catholicism first. I think I'm getting close. No, you're not. I said the same thing. Trust me.
Yeah, that's the same thing. My one of my youth pastors said, who's a Calvinist. He said he's like you're arguing against it, but one day you'll be. And I'm like, okay, man. So
Calvinism is actually ridiculous. Catholicism actually has some bases behind it.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Like what, damn? Like
there's a reason our church has been around for 2,000 years.
But you know what else is greater than that conversation? Shaggy. Shaggy is obviously a Giga Chad because he's in all those memes where he destroys everything. So
Shaggy could have taken down the whole Yuzan Vong Empire
by himself, single-handedly.
If only Grievous hadn't stepped on him.
Like Zoink Shimura, come over here. Like I'll give you a good watch.
Like not bad, Shimura. You made me use like 10% of my power.
Like you made me use 10% of my power.
Let's see how you do against 20.
Yeah.
There's only one person watching this stream. How
Then
about
him
that?
versus Amy.
They probably left because I started doing my Shaggy impression.
Shaggy versus
Or
O'Neill.
no, it's because you started talking crap about Catholics.
Uh-oh.
And I didn't say anything crap. I just said, "Are you going to convert my mom? She could use religion." Cause that's all I made the joke of.
I think you can convert your no. I'll convert your
My mom
to
doesn't listen to me about anything. Are you kidding me?
Oh well, she'll listen to me.
Yeah, I know. That's why you're texting her.
So you're
Okay.
saying Alex will convert your mom, or not? Lance will convert your mom and then become your new dad.
Yeah. That's
I'm
okay.
already sad.
I mean, it's only more. It only helped my viewership if Lance gets with my mom. So it'll be a whole like YouTube
Right.
thing.
Lucas was your dad.
Lucas is my dad. I have a lot of parents.
Dope.
Oh, thank you. I spent time in high school wasting my life perfecting that. So time well spent, I guess. I had better to do.
Seems like everybody, you've got Shaggy and Slav has his George Lucas impressions. Like everybody does it.
And then my Obama's okay, but my voice just isn't deep enough. Like people will go like, "Yeah, I know what you're doing," but it doesn't sound as good as my Shaggy.
I think I can do a good Dave Filoni.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
is it? Can I see Ahsoka naked, please? That's all you have to say.
That's actually just personal
Somebody
stuff.
clip
for me,
that of
so I'm
Alex
not
saying
gonna-
that, please.
I'm
No,
not
not
gonna
me.
share
It's Filoni.
No,
No.
Somebody
That.
clip that.
You can't clip that from me. Mine's naked Palpatine. That's mine. That's my thing.
Alex, make it.
You want to make Star Wars dark? Okay.
2 hours, 16 minutes in, we're clipping that.
No.
Okay.
Not
Make Star
another
Wars dark?
commitment.
Okay. Well, I want to make it raunchy with little orange
We're gonna
girls.
have naked Palpatine, me throwing books, and now the Ahsoka comment. But I'll never live it down.
Oh no.
You notice how these kind of things select me? Maybe that's
People
why
are gonna like. Yeah, that's probably why. People are gonna make they're gonna make like little images of me on somebody's face with like Ahsoka and naked Palpatine touching me or something. It's gonna be the worst,
That sounds like a terrible idea. But
right? That's a nightmare, actually.
can Jar Jar be involved?
No, what are we bringing innocent Jar Jar to this? My baby.
Jar Jar's the key to all of this.
No, he's the key to all
Jar
this.
Jar
He's
is the reason Onimi has the power to control Shinra.
Jar Jar was behind Onimi.
He was behind her.
Jar Jar's thousands of years old.
is Onimi.
Jar Jar's
Jar Jar's
thousands
taught
of
on
years
me
old.
everything he knows.
Pretty much.
Onimi takes off his like masker thing.
Onimi was his
for
Sith,
Jar Jar.
apprentice.
God dang it! Of course, this
Somebody's
is when
phone is
he
ringing.
comes back.
He's describing the curves of Palpy.
God dang it!
Papa Palpatine.
Look, sometimes you gotta appreciate beauty in all its forms.
I don't think Palpatine.
Lord Vader, draw me like one of your French girls.
Draw me
Oh,
like
no, very. Lord
handmaiden.
Vader, draw me like one of your Naboo maidens.
No, God.
Lord Vader, draw me like Padme.
Oh.
Oh,
Draw me like
So
Padme.
you want bigger tits? Yes, I want bigger tits.
oh my God.
Gosh, we're all 12.
Yeah.
Yes, Lance, we are all 12, or at worst, 11.
Oh, Marcel's like gotta be 8 then.
Yeah.
No, Marcel's
the youngest one.
Marcel's the 15-year-old kid that buys us booze.
Oh yeah.
The cool kid. He's the cool kid at school who wears black and buys us booze and
Hey,
cigarettes.
I used to do that back in high school. We're all black all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
That was like
I
my
don't remember
only
what I try to block out high school, so I try not to remember.
same though. High school.
But it can't escape whether it be the internet or life. There's always freaking jokes turned on me. Like I went out with my coworkers after work one day, and we were in one of my coworkers' backyards, and it was freezing. It was like I don't know, it was like 40 degrees, and I was dying. But I'm a guy, so I was just like, everybody was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like literally shivering like a dog. I'm like, "I'm fine." And I did that for another like 10 minutes. I'm dying. And then, completely platonic because I'm like, Chad. I'm not going to be weird about anything. These girls are like, you could just sit on the chair. We'll sit on top. We'll keep you warm. But like completely platonic. So then I did it. And then, of course, somebody else was like, see, Alex is the only one here who can, say like, he's had 3 girls on top of him. I'm like, why do you got to do that? Why you got to make it be like that? It was not like that. You got to make it all weird now.
I don't know. That's a pretty Chad move, Alex.
Hey, yeah, that's weird. I just wanted to be warm, and it worked. I was not cold anymore. So, but it was completely innocent. I wasn't even thinking in a bad way until they said that. I was like, "Frick, why?"
Alex, I'm making a video for your channel.
Oh, is it with Palpatine?
Wouldn't you like to know? Let's just say that it's not NF. What's it? What's the NC-17?
Hey, if it's gonna go on YouTube, it needs to be YouTube friendly. That's all I gotta say. So you better put some underwear on it.
Not for kids. That's what you should mark for this video.
I gotta put it. If you got actual naked Palpatine, like everything and all, I can't upload that to YouTube. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you send the naked Palpatine in Discord, I'm probably gonna reply with that clip from the Batman with Penguin going, "What are you showing me here? Come on!"
Dear Mr. McDearman, do you have any pictures of yourself 30 years ago in the nude? Please respond imminently.
I have some.
I have just the picture. It's my old headshot.
I believe Lord Vader has the pictures in his camera roll. I sent it to him a couple of years ago.
Imagine he writes back and he's like, your letter was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
This is what happens when my internet actually doesn't make me sound like a robot. It becomes about naked Palpatine and about all my memes. But my favorite meme that people do is when they make me be Negan. That's like the one.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm actually proud of. Okay, so when I
terrifying as Negan.
Before I met you, Lance, before I was kind of like in the CU community, I was only in Quality Autism server, and I was the sole defender of everything after New Jedi Order. Even though I'm not the biggest Denning fan, but I defended everything post. And so whenever I'd have a retort, I would just respond with a GIF, and that GIF would be Negan. So I've kind of become the Negan of the Star Wars EU. So and that's why people have made edits of me as Negan and Noah as Rick, as we're going head-to-head to debate Legacy of the Force or Jedi Academy, because he doesn't like Jedi Academy, and I love it. So that's the origin.
My pick should give you a genuine indication of whether or not you should believe me or not.
So don't believe anything you say. Got it.
I will exaggerate everything.
Actually, only on my stream, because if it's in the comment section, then I trust you with my life, because Garrus is my best friend. So Garrus is the best boy in Mass Effect.
Up their Legos right now.
Yeah, who's
that? Legos? No, my dad's getting nice.
Oh, okay.
That's what they all say.
Like his lamp.
No, I wish I had Legos to mess with. I wish I had the money for Legos.
I have Slave 1 and the Millennium Falcon right next to me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
I used to have Grievous's ship when I was younger, and then one day we were moving, and I had it in like a bag, and then it fell, and so it got all broken, and it was ruined, and it took like all day to make it, and I didn't feel like making it again. So, and then also my friend's younger brother's friend had the Millennium Falcon on Lego, and he put it on the couch, and I didn't see it, so I sat down. I
notice every so often Max just rolls out to grab something. I'm like, does she have like all of the books and stuff just like splayed out there, and she just needs to like, oh, okay, because I meant like it feels like you roll and then you're back 2 seconds later. So I'm like, it's like she has like the books splayed out, and all she has to do is roll and grab it like a droid
And
or
Max is
something.
always moving,
Yeah,
always moving in the video.
I always
I'm like, what's going on?
I fidget.
Like, hang on, I need to grab this. Hang on, I need to grab this. I need to grab this.
I think this would be appreciated. It's a
Oh,
little
yeah.
glare. I got this in the mail the other
Awesome.
day. Mercari.
That's so cool.
Pretty dope.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
All my physical stuff comes from Brendan, so or most of it. There's some that came from from a friend of Matt Wilkins, but he's not really like a personality on the internet, so I'm not gonna say his name. Oh, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But
But no, I have all my books and shit like over there.
So how about this? Since you finished New Jedi Order, Maxine, obviously I know what happens later on, but what are some theories that you might have? Obviously, you know the ending, but what do you think is going to go on in Dark Nest and beyond?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm going into this kind of blind because you know, I went into NJO and I knew I knew about Anakin, I knew about Chewie. I know about what happens tomorrow in Legacy. I know what book it happens in. I'm just not sure how it happens or the specifics of it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I really know nothing about Legacy or Dark Nest.
Yeah.
So I'm really going into it blind.
I guess it's kind of better because you have no expectations.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what full series have you read, Max? Like for EU full series, like what have you?
Besides NGO, of course.
I've read
just
NJO, obviously.
Just NJO?
No, I've read Young Jedi Knights. I've read the Thrawn trilogy, obviously. I read are we talking about just novels, or are we talking about comics and stuff too?
Yeah,
I'm talking about well, let's say it's let's say for the sake of argument it's novels. Like what novel series? And I consider a series to be 3 or more books.
Yeah, so Thrawn trilogy, Young Jedi Knights, NJO. I read 2 of Junior Jedi Knights, but I'm not done with it yet.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, see, here's a good thing. Even after you finish,
Bane trilogy. I've read the Bane trilogy.
That's a good one. But even after you finish, the end of the timeline, because I did that too. Because I started off primarily trying to focus on post episode 6 because I was disappointed with the sequels. So that's what I primarily focused on. And throughout the whole past year, I've gone through everything in chronological order from the very, very, very beginning. So even after you finish, you said you mentioned Darth Plagueis, Darth Bane. So you have a whole bunch of stuff that you have not read. The EU is expansive, so you'll still be in this for a long time.
Yeah,
so there's still a lot more to enjoy.
That's kind of why I asked the question, because just because you finished the New Jedi Order, which is arguably the longest series in the EU.
Yeah, there's still a lot more.
Yeah, there's still a lot more.
So Commando books.
Oh yeah, no, definitely go through those.
There's what was it? Forgot. No, I've Plagueis read that 3 times. I plan on reading it again because I love that book.
Okay, question for Plagueis. How many of the EU connections do you know are in that book?
There's a lot. I know there's a shitload.
No, there's only, in my opinion, there is a lot, and I knew them because I went through the audiobooks previously before I went through Darth Plagueis, as well as some of the comics. And so far, there's only one thing in that entire thing that they got wrong. The rest of it is absolutely solid.
What was it?
The Darth Maul comic. They grossly misinterpret that.
I haven't read that.
Yet. I would recommend it if you can. I don't know if you can find it digitally.
You can, because I have it.
Yeah, it's the Darth Maul comic, and the novel. Oh my god! I can't even tell you how grossly it misinterprets how things go down there.
Yeah.
With Black Sun.
Yeah, with Black Sun. It really grossly. I did completely, and actually, it kind of pissed me off at how big of a contradiction it was.
I thought you were going to mention the changes to the Maul's backstory because of Filoni.
Oh, I know
the
they
most
did the
egregious
changes.
thing.
I know they did those changes because of Filoni, but they didn't have to completely tear apart that particular connection. Because in the comic, by Ron Mars, by the end of the story, Sidious is completely pleased with Maul's performance. Then he's sending him on the next assignment.
Well, that's what he says, but we don't get his brain.
I'm just saying in the book it's portrayed that like even though he succeeded in the mission, Maul's a complete failure and he needs to question him completely. And
I understand the frustration.
He's reluctantly sending him on the next mission.
I mean, I understand Yeah, I get that frustration, but that would be more of a retcon than anything else, not necessarily a contradiction.
Well, then it's a garbage retcon. Well, then it is a garbage retcon. Then it really is.
But he says a lot of things that he doesn't mean, though. He's Palpatine.
So I know, but even Plagueis, even Plagueis in the book was like, dude, chill. He still did it. We're not exposed. Calm down.
But so after I read I'm going from Darkness to Legacy to Fate, and then after that I'm gonna do the Jedi Academy trilogy. I already have
that one. Have you read the Tales of the Jedi already?
Yeah, I've read Tales of the Jedi.
Okay, then you'll be able to enjoy that a lot then.
I love Tales.
Have you done Dark Empire?
My favorites, huh?
Have you done Dark Empire?
I've read the first volume of Dark Empire.
Well, now that Lightsaber's out, you can finish the rest.
You need to read the other two, particularly Part 2, because it is tied to Tales of the Jedi.
Good job.
Well, it references a lot of Tales of the Jedi because I think it came out first, and then Tales of the Jedi came out after the fact.
Yeah, Ood Banner.
Banar.
Yeah, Ood Banar.
But I'm so excited though to get to Legacy.
I think it's really good. I know there's a lot of people on the internet who are kind of against anything after New Jedi Order, and I understand that. And part of the reason is, I mean, you already know that Jason's gonna, turn bad.
Yeah.
So that's not a spoiler. And people have issues with that because they feel like the end of New Jedi Order doesn't really justify that, and I would agree. But like Marcel mentioned a bit earlier, there's a 5-year jump, and then you have that trilogy, Dark Nest, and then there's another 5-year jump, and Jason's still not bad in that first Legacy of the Force book. He's still technically a good guy. So there's a whole bunch of room for development there. He's not like just 1 minute a good guy, 1 minute a bad guy. It's not like that. He is different by the time you start Dark Nest. It is a bit jarring, and they don't really give an explanation other than it's been 5 years, and he's learned stuff. And, that's more of a tell instead of showing, and that is a bit of a gripe. But it's not as if it's just out of the blue. They do kind of try to justify that. So
yeah, but overall, though, I'm excited for what comes next. NJO was just spectacular, and I loved every moment of it. Well, Force Heretic 1 was a little iffy, but the rest of it was fantastic.
Yeah, and, I will be honest. I don't think anything forward is as good as NJO, and I don't think having that expectation will be good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think,
as I said, I'm going into the next of Blind, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think that's what Disney is trying to do with the High Republic. They're trying to make it as good as New Jedi Order, but there's no way it's going to be like.
No, can't top NJO.
Yeah,
NJO is too good.
Though I'll say, the Legacy of the Force to the entire galaxy of the Star Wars universe. The events are more small scale, but I think that's better because I think it's good that it didn't try to outbeat the craziness of NGO. The reason Legacy of the Force works is because it's more personal. But to the greater galaxy, it's not that big of a deal with everything that goes down. So
it's more like a background detail, right?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of Civil War was a big deal to the the MCU was a big deal to the superheroes. It wasn't really that big of a deal to the everyday people. It was the whole conflict started from that from like the events of Avengers and stuff, which you could say is like New Jedi Order and stuff. But the actual like conflict between the superheroes in the Civil War movie is kind of small scale in comparison to what they've been through. So that's kind of how it is with Legacy of the Force. It's more personal than it is externally a threat.
Cool.
All right, guys. I hate to be this guy, but
It's okay. We've been talking forever.
Oh no!
Thank you to everyone for joining, especially Max. Thanks for coming on and talking about the NJO. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to the other 3 goons for joining.
Anytime.
So it's good having y'all on. So y'all have an excellent night. And everybody else in stream chat, of course, thanks for joining. A lot of fun doing these. I'm going to be doing some more streams in the next couple of weeks because I have a lot more time to do it now.
Sounds fun.
Obviously, it's going to be temporary because, school will come back eventually.
But
yeah, I got to get out of here. So y'all have an excellent, excellent night. Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
thanks for having us on.
See you later.